Hey. Welcome back to the cafe. It's great to be back with you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everybody's having a great Monday afternoon, September 24th, 2024. And we're back. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Happy Monday, folks. Today, guys, we're going to be looking into I know it's a little different than what the type of stuff we usually look at, but it is true crime, folks, and it's some pretty serious allegations. But we're going to be looking into the P. Diddy stuff, the allegations and charges, and how bad is it really, and who's all involved in this, you guys. That's why I want to look into this. I'm actually quite interested. So thank you guys for joining me today. Probably open up the panel to hear people's thoughts on this and feelings on this, as we like to do. Again, thank you to everybody that joined me for coffee and current events this morning. I appreciate you all so very much. So we're going to jump into this for a couple hours. Guys, please make sure to hit the like button on your way through the door. Share this out to anybody that you think might be interested in jumping in here and conversating with us. I appreciate that so very much. Besides that, you know what I'm going to say next, guys, and that is let's get this show on the road. Sounds like a plan. Here we go. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. As we're going to jump into what is going on with this Sean Combs P. Diddy scenario. The charges, the allegations, the PCA, the arrest warrant, the documents. I want to take a look at those. How serious is this, you guys? Is it a real thing? Is it the real deal? Has it been being covered up all these years and we've never known the seriousness of it? We're going to look at that and see what some others think about it. Of course, our friend Vinny at Core TV. And again, who all is involved in this? That's what I'm curious about, because, you know, we've all looked up to Hollywood and music stars and all that for years as our idols and role models. And damn, it's interesting, to say the least. It's not typically what I would cover, but I'm very interested myself, so why not do it with you guys? You know what I'm saying? Thank you again for jumping in with us today. That's what we're looking into. Some other stuff as well, probably. I want to thank you to my Blue crew for joining me today. I could not, would not, should not ever try to do this without them. My producers, Miss Doodlebug in here. I appreciate her so very much, as well as everybody else that's in here with us today, this afternoon. Thank you guys for joining me this morning for the, I'm probably going to change the name, but Coffee and Current Events with Dago in the morning. That was a great show this morning. I appreciate that very much. So welcome. Come on in. Please, guys, if you will, hit that like button. Share this out to whoever you think would be interested in hanging with us in here and talking about this stuff. Please, we got plenty of room in here, and we got plenty of room in this pot full of sauce to bring in some more meatballs. So anybody interested in becoming a meatball, please jump on in here with us. We definitely appreciate you. But most importantly, share it out, hit the like button. Let's get this in that algorithm so the whole world can see it and you guys don't miss a thing when we do go live. Come on. Let's do it. All right, all right. No, Chopper, you don't need producers. I just have a large team that has helped me with a lot and does help me with a lot. So I have a couple producers. But you don't need him, Chopper. Come on in, everybody. It is great to see everybody here again today. Let's see who we got so far. Let's just see. Let's see. Again, hit that like button if you will. Miss Paula's back in the house. Welcome back, Miss Paula. Alicia J. Always happy to see you. Chopper's in the house. Welcome back. Miss Sherry Wisdom Speaks in the house. Welcome back to you, Miss Sherry. Always a pleasure, my friend and yours. Walt Harris in the house. Good to see you, Walt. Doodlebug. Good to have you here, dear. Brady B, the OG's in the house. Miss Victoria, welcome back. Good to see you. Pappy Man, what's happening, my brother? Good to see you. Miss Debbie Clark, welcome back to you. Wonderful to see you today. Sassy Italian too. Hey, good to see you, dear. Thank you for joining us today. Miss Crystal Williams, thank you for being here. I appreciate you very much. Let's see here. Ganja Girl, aka Miss Jen. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us, Miss Jen. Noni McPoppins in the house. Hello. How are you today? Good to see you. Again, let's see. Chopper, Doodle, Sassy. Let me see. Am I missing anybody? I don't think so. P. Diddler. Miss Bonnie Bailey, welcome back to you, dear. Let me see. Victoria. Slow Southern Style's in the house today. Welcome back, Southern Style. Good to see you. It is a lot. I've shortened it down, actually. Southern Style. My intro was a lot longer. I shortened it down a lot more than what it was. I'm working on getting it perfected. Nobody's perfect. It takes time sometimes to make it work the right way. I got a couple different variations too. We'll make it happen. Murky Piglet, welcome back to you. Great to see you. Great source of information this morning. Thank you so much for that stuff, Murky. You are appreciated. SMD, welcome back to you. Good to see you. Sunshine's in the house. We need a little bit of that. It's rainy and gloomy around here. Thank you for joining us. And welcome back to you, Midwest. Great to see you today. I hope you're having a wonderful day as well. Come on in. Cali Cat, good to see you. Cali Cat 1069's in the house. Eating your dinner. I hope you're enjoying that dinner. I appreciate you listening today. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? We got 40 peeps in here, guys. 31 likes. Let's try to make that match. One of these days, we got to get this back in that algorithm. That is important, guys. Please, if we can. So, again, share this out to anybody you think would through your social medias. I really appreciate it. But, again, please, on the way through the door, look to the right. Kick it, punch it, lick it, smack it, elbow it. I don't care. Knee it. Hit that like button, if you will, and share this out. Like I said, it is so very much appreciated. Thank you. Come on in. Miss Kel, I see you there. Welcome back. Good to see you. Good to have you here today. Let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. Bonnie Bailey. Thank you, Miss Paula. Please don't forget to hit that like button, guys. It's super surprise. Oh, I'm not saying I won't, Chopper. We'll get there. No worries. Mystery's in the house. Welcome back, Mystery. Great to see you. I think there's a lot going down, Ganja. Let's see. It's great to see you back in here, Pappy. It's been a minute, brother. I hope you're doing well. Rowena back in the house. Thank you for joining us, Ro. Always a pleasure. Yeah, it did used to be longer, Southern Style. I definitely did. Miss Debbie Clark, congrats on 5 months here in the cafe. Great to see you today, Debbie, and congrats for that again. I appreciate you being part of this community very much. Mama Bear's in the chat, guys. I don't know if she'll be joining us. She might be. Who knows? She likes to surprise us from time to time. Good to see you, Mama Bear. Aaron B., my brother, good to see you. Welcome back. Come on in, everybody. Get comfortable. Grab your coffee, tea, whatever it may be. Come on in and have a conversation with me, if you will. I appreciate that very much. And again, thank you for those of you that joined me this morning in the coffee and current events with Dago. I appreciate that very much. Something we tried out for the first time. It seemed to go well. So I think we're going to keep it going. Come on, come on. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central is Marcellus Williams time. I may be bringing you guys some info on that Marcellus Williams situation tonight. We'll see what happens. Mom is probably still at work, Topper. I don't know if she is off. She usually pops in here afterwards. Let's see. Randy Fur, my brother. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for jumping in. Smitten Kitten, same to you. Thank you for joining us so very much. Green Eyed PI's in the house. Welcome back to you. I appreciate you all so very much. Homemade naan bread. I love naan bread. That's good stuff. It really is. Love naan bread. I'd like to get that recipe. Awesome stuff. Mama's in the chat in here. Mama Bear is. Leslie and Billy, welcome back to you. 49 people, 34 likes, 35 likes. Let's see if we can get that up there to match it up, guys. Low 12's in the house. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Alicia J., good to see you again, dear. Come on down, everybody. Get comfortable, if you will. We got some crap to look at. And it is crime, guys. This stuff is crazy. These are the people that we look up to, the people that our kids idolize. You know, some of us have even idolized them in some senses. They're role models, and they take full advantage of that and do whatever they want to do because they have power and money. And, well, guess what? It's time to stop letting that happen. It's being called out. Welcome, SRB. Good to see you. Tomboy Charm, welcome back to you. It is great to have you all here today. Slipping and sliding, all that oil. Yes, there's so many jokes out right now. This man disgusts me. If all this stuff is they're accusing him of is true, shame on you, my friend. That's all I can say. She threw the recipe out there. 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of plain yogurt, salt, roll out thin, cook on skillet. Yes, I've heard that yogurt thing before, so that makes sense. Thank you, Ganja. I'll give that to my wife. She loves naan bread too. It's very good. We like to make our own. We've used it before to make like gyros, sorry. Butter chicken tonight. Oh, that sounds good. There's chicken tikka masala. Naan bread is good with that too. Diddy, the SRB is making jokes left and right. He's pitiful. P. Diddy's pitiful. That was funny, SRB. And he's pity oily, like Rose just said. Yes. Stew, curry, goat. Sounds good, Ganja. It really does. I love naan. I would eat it by itself. Pity oil. And Chopper's telling stories in here today. Once upon a time, there was a like button that liked to be smashed. And if you smash that like button, you would be awesome. The end. That is such a great story. Thank you so much, Chopper, for telling it. Saziki, yes. Michael 007. Hello, my friend. Welcome again from over the pond. It's great to see you, sir. I'm trying to get my stuff together, Michael. Bring the shows back the way they should be. Walt Harris, please hit the like button or we'll send R. Kelly and P. Diddy to your home. Oh, no, we won't do that. That would be bad stuff. Euros. Yes, my best friend Angie was 50% Greek and 50% Italian. And when I used to say, before she's the one that passed away, when I used to say gyros, she used to get so pissed off at me. She would hold my face and say, say it like this, Joe. Euros. It's euros. Okay. Love you, Angie. And I'm saying it right. My wife makes homemade tzatziki sauce. We make a gyro pizza where she'll get the pizza crust or the pre-made shells. I can't remember where she gets those from, Walmart, I think. And the lamb that you slice to make the gyros. And we put cheese on it. It's the only difference. And we put tomatoes, lettuce, the lamb, and cheese, and then you bake it, and then you pull it out after that, and then you put the sauce on it because it'll spoil if you don't. It'll curdle, and then you put the tzatziki on it afterwards, and you eat it like a pizza. Oh my god, guys, it is really that good. Try it one time, I promise you. He probably will. Murky, I agree with you on that one. Cancel that. No, we don't want to do that either, Chopper. Good God, that dude is a mess. We're going to talk about him soon, too. Noni, it's great to see you, dear. I hope you're doing wonderful. Let me see here. I want to make sure everybody got their notifications. I think, is Doodle in here already? She might be. If not, I don't know. Right. I hope anybody that's getting the notifications is getting them for sure. Tomorrow night, you guys, I'll be jumping back into the, what time did we see? 8 or 9 p.m. I'll have to double check it with PJ, lighting their way home. She's going to be joining me tomorrow night, and we're going to be jumping back into the more Murray situation and talking more about that and getting lighting their way, who has spent a lot of time with Julie Mora's sister and on that case, and getting her side of things, her input and her feelings about Mora's case. So I'm very excited for that. I can't wait for that. I hope to see you guys here tomorrow night for that. We got a lot of new stuff coming up and a lot of stuff coming down the path. We're going to be jumping back into the Summer Wells situation, starting from the beginning, looking at it again and doing a revisit to that case because it really needs some attention, in my opinion. That's coming down the pike, and so much more, guys. So I hope that you're here for it, and I hope that you're interested to hear it. I am excited to do it. So thank you again for being here. I'm on my 9th cup of coffee today. Wow, I'm wired. Yes, like Ro just said, please leave your DNA when you come through the door, guys. Let's get this in that algorithm if we can. It is so great to see you guys. I'm going to wait just a few minutes here to make sure we have everybody here that's going to be here, and we'll get jumping. Again, say hello to our mama bear in the chat, if you will. Just so you guys know, the new morning shows I'll be doing. Mama Bear, of course, is going to be joining me when she can, and we will have Doodlebug is going to be a co-host as well on that show. So I'm excited for that too, guys. We got a lot of cool stuff happening around here, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm very excited to have you here for it. So please share it out. Let everybody know what's going on over here at the cafe. Bring them with you. Bring a date. Bring 2. Bring 4. I don't mind. Chopper says today also is Kylie Ryan's birthday. Rest in peace, JJ and Kylie and Tammy and Chad. Thank you, Chopper. Yes, rest in peace. Great to see you here today again, Leslie. Thank you. Miss Brandy, thank you so much for that. And thank you to anybody that decides to choose to support this channel in this way by donating to the links, whether it be Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. We do appreciate that, guys. It's never expected from anybody ever. But we do definitely appreciate it because it keeps the channel running. It keeps the internet paid for, the StreamYard, the YouTube Premium, and all the little things that go into that. It keeps it running. And sometimes it keeps coffee in my cup to keep me running too. So it is very much appreciated when you guys donate that way. God bless. We do appreciate you so very much for that. And thank you, Brandy, for throwing that up there. I appreciate that. I think we got, let's see, let's see, let's see. Let's see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Charles, not chat. I knew what you meant, but yes, rest in peace, Charles. Thank you, Chopper. Thank you, thank you. Don't forget, guys, to check out all the other great creators in here, their channels. We got Arctic Fox's channel, Mind of Monsters, Doodlebug, Mama Bear, Wisdom Speaks. All the links are in chat right there for you guys to click on. Subscribe to those channels if you will. Show some support. These are amazing creators, amazing people. Please, if you will. Walt Harris is in the house. Good to see you, Walt. Dago's here. But yes, please go check out all those channels that we have. Links for in chat. These are amazing creators and amazing people that are out here doing the right thing. Okay. That's what's important. And that is why. And if anybody is interested in any kind of merchandise for this channel, guys, we have plenty of it. Plenty of it. Thanks to Doodlebug. And from some of the creative ideas that come from the community here, there's a link in chat that Doodlebug is posting right now. Please go check it out if you'd like a t-shirt, a hoodie, a pillow or a pillowcase, a blanket, candle, cups, mugs, whatever you want. We got it in there. And if you don't see something you want, just ask. We very well might have it for you the next day. That's all I'm saying. Ganja says, my channel is paranormal stuff. That's awesome. We do paranormal on the Fridays, Ganja. I think you've been in here for it. We're going to be running Friday night. It's going to be, we're changing the name up on it. Thanks to a couple of my moderators giving me a good idea. Friday night paranormal, creepy and unexplained stuff. That's what it's going to be on Friday nights. That's what we're going to be running. Yes. And we have Duchess too, Chopper. That's right. Miss Duchess for the missing. If we could drop Miss Duchess's link in here, please. She's a wonderful soul. Miss Duchess has done so much work for the missing and others. And she's just a beautiful person. So yes, guys, please check out all of these creators' channels. Doodlebug and Miss Sherry, Wisdom Speaks, Arctic Fox, Mind of Monsters are always putting out posters and information on the missing children, missing people. They do an amazing job of it as well. Miss Duchess for sure definitely does so much work with that. So please again check that out. There's the link. Doodle dropped. Dutch for the missing. Please go check her out, guys. She's an amazing person. She really is. I've learned a lot from her. I've learned a lot from Arctic Fox, another great channel. He's also a member of my team in here, one of the Blue Crew. He's very awesome. Please check that channel out as well, guys. There's just too much to look at in so little time. Welcome. Speaking of Arctic, good to see you, bud. Come on. 47 people in here, 39 likes. Let's try to make that match, guys, if we can. And then we're going to jump on into the topic for today. Get it started so we can get done with it. Let me see. Show what we got here. I'm telling you, Molly. Let me see. What we got? We got a couple different things we're going to look at with this to start off with. So, like the title says, guys, is we're looking into it. I want to know about the charges, the allegations, and how serious and real they really are. How bad is this? Why are our we're gonna look at something that Court TV, because I love Vinny and I love Court TV, that they put out about why are celebrities keeping quiet about this? Are they afraid of something? Is this bigger than it seems to be? There she is. Hello, hello, mom. Great to see you here. There she is, guys. For those of you that asked for her, I was waiting. Speaking of which, mom's always welcome to jump up here with me whenever she feels like it. So if you're feeling like it, mom, you're welcome to. You know that. Welcome, girls. Number 39. Willie's in the house. What's going on, brother? Oh yeah, there's some talk of politicians, and I told you guys when this first hit, we were just kind of talking a little bit that I think he's going to flip on a bunch of people. Let's wait and see what happens with that, guys. Girls. Been a member for 5 months. That's awesome. Congrats, and thank you for being part of this community, girls. We appreciate you very much. Very much. So, yes, absolutely, Murky. Good. Welcome back, Willie. Good to see you, bud. All right, guys, let's get this ball rolling. There's a lot to talk about in little time. Happy Dagoversary, girls. Thank you for that, Miss Paula. Again, welcome. Leslie Petrolakis, welcome back. Good to see you today. Sorry. Let's see what we got going on. All right.
The alleged crimes of Sean Diddy Combs are what's trending in true crime this morning. Welcome back. I'm Julie Grant. Many people are noticing the celebrity associates who are not speaking out. Let's talk about them. For instance, Usher, who was managed by Diddy. Remember that when he was 13 and later worked with him as an adult. Usher recently wiped his profile from Twitter, X. He was mentioned in one of the sex assault lawsuits at someone who had sexual interactions with Combs.
And see, this is something that I remember hearing about this a while back. They welcome Miss Cynthia. Good to see you. Mom, hello.
Hello.
I love it. Hello. Thank you for joining me, dear. So I remember hearing where the allegation that Usher had been assaulted by Diddy. Well, then not too long ago, I heard that Usher was just like Diddy. So I don't know what to think of it. These are like, again, guys, I love her. Hello too, SRB. It's hilarious. It was funny how she stretched out like I did too. That was great. These are, like I've been saying, guys, our role models, our children's role models. My kids, my daughters were huge fans of Usher, Diddy. I liked some of the music that Diddy produced, put out there. Biggie, I was a big fan of Biggie. So this is stuff that a lot of us grew up on. Okay, and to hear these people, like, same with when Bill Cosby went down, that just broke me. I loved Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was America's father, in my opinion. Okay. We all grew up watching the Cosby Show. And I think we all kind of lived through the Cosby Show, as Bill Cosby was America's dad in some senses, right? And then that came out, and it just was like, you just ruined half my childhood. You know what I mean? Now we have this kind of stuff coming out, and there's more. There's more. That's why we're looking at this, because I want to know. I want to know who is involved in this. And we go backwards a little bit to the Epstein Island list. I'm telling you guys, it's all interchangeable. It really is. It's sad. Excuse me. Yeah, Arctic, I was going to say that too, that there's talk out there that Diddy's wife or girlfriend her death was because of this. I mean, and these people have been getting away with this shit for years, okay? Because they have money and power. This is the stuff that we stand against: sex trafficking. It's all crime. It horrible crimes. Okay. They shouldn't be able to get away with it just because they have that power that the money has given them. That's another one. Orlando Bloom spoke out about this. Ice Cube's been speaking out about this. Cat Williams, multiple people have spoken out about this, and a lot of them were blacklisted because they weren't playing the game. It's not the way it's supposed to work, guys. Not the way it's supposed to work. Justin Bieber's another one. J-Lo's involved in this. What's she going to do with this? Because she's going to be named in this because at that point in time, that's what was going on then. I'm curious because J-Lo is another role model that has a lot of people been looking up to for a long time. Was she involved? How serious is it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Bieber's a victim for sure. Definitely a victim. Welcome, Mystic. Good to see you. And it's a sad scenario. Like, all this kid wanted to do was be somebody to show his talent to the world, and was abused throughout it. And they used that to get people. They groomed these people by doing that. I promise you that you'll have a record contract if you do this, this, and that. Meanwhile, they're taking their lives away from them. They're taking their childhoods away in some senses. They're assaulting these people. Enough is enough. Like, I hope to God that this is basically ripping the Band-Aid off, and this is going to start flowing. Yeah, you can jump up here too, Willie. Come on up. Mom, can you hear me okay?
I can.
All right. What's your thought on this real quick before I bring Willie up here?
So sad but true. You know, fame brings money. Money brings what we'll call recreational activities and other things that you may use in those recreational activities. And when you are using said stuff, it does tend to change your personality. Money also changes your personality. So you see a lot of these artists that get big really quick, and they get big fast, and that money, in my honest opinion, the ones that we see that don't stay big or don't own record labels are the ones that we see 10 years down the road that look like they're aged 75 years and have spent the last 10 years in rehab.
Absolutely. That's what sent them to the drugs and the alcohol in some senses.
Right. And, you know, it's like, and I'm sorry to say it like this, but you sell your soul to the devil. What more do you expect?
And I've said that multiple times.
But hold on. But some people can't help it. Like Justin Bieber's mom, okay, is one of the sickest human beings in this world. Okay, because a lot of people don't know that P. Diddy tried to get custody of Justin Bieber and was unsuccessful.
Right.
And then the person who got custody of Justin Bieber was that man right there next to P. Diddy, Usher. And then what did Usher do? Usher undermined the courts who didn't allow him to get custody of Bieber and gave custody for 48 hours to that pig right there in a hat.
Yep. That's exactly what happened too.
That's a fact.
And that's what I'm saying. The manipulation.
The state should have stepped in and took him instead of handing him to.
Well, it was 2 days.
And evil deeds. It either way. I mean, why did custody of him go to Usher? Why did the state not step in if his mother was such a bad person?
Because you just said it before, power and money.
Money, yes, man. Yeah, I agree. 100%. It's really sad. It is. What's up, Willie? Welcome. I
didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to come up and just tell you that real quick because a lot of people don't know about that situation. You know, like how it happened.
Yeah, I read that story. I couldn't believe, I mean, everybody loves this guy right here too. Okay. I mean, I thought this was like the next Michael Jackson, Usher, you know, it's like, God, he's so talented. And my son watched him. He learned how to dance from him, this and that, everything else. And it's like, is it really what it is? I mean, what are you using they're using their power and they know that people are going to fall all over them. They're going to follow them. They're role models, you guys. And what role models for what? To teach others how to do this stuff? No, that's not what this is about. Not at all.
And all the people that are on video, you know, saying that they went to his party and stuff like that are all really quiet, you know. And now there's video. I mean, now there's video of politicians at these parties. Like this is going to get bad. I'm just saying, like,
I hope it does. I hope there's even word now that Leo DiCaprio is on the run because of this shit now, and I'm like, really?
yeah. And he
man.
advocates for this, and the sick thing about it is, like, he advocates for this stuff.
Right. That's where the problem is. That's where the problem is the people that come out here and they advocate for this stuff, and they're like, against this stuff.
Mhm.
They're right there in the middle of it somewhere, and it's not cool to me at all. So,
But yeah, I didn't mean to, I got to eat dinner, but I just wanted to hop up and just kind of,
I appreciate your input, as I do anybody. So appreciate
all
you
right,
very much.
you guys have a good night. I'll still be in chat.
Okay, bud. Thanks again.
All right, guys.
And again, yes, like Arctic just said, Nick, Aaron, Carter, Justin Timberlake, all of those guys that were involved, actually, Backstreet, NSYNC, and some, from what I heard, a little bit about New Kids on the Block, were again taken advantage of by Lou Pearlman. This is true facts, folks. I read that story too. These people, they get a hold of, it's like claws, and they dig them in, and it's disgusting because they promise that you're going to be somebody. There's always a price. There's always a price. It's a price that they have to pay that completely changes them as a person. It's very sickening and very sad. Okay, it really, really is. So, agreed, Arctic. It's a sad thing, but welcome, Chopper. How are you today? If you can hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right,
saying right there. Okay, so I was gonna say Justin Bieber was 15 years old when he first met P Diddy.
Right.
So
Yeah,
you just have to-
absolutely.
and if you was to take in the account of the stories about P Diddy's parties and all that, money can get you pretty far.
Oh God, yes. Everything you want. We know that. I mean, first off, not to interrupt, but this was not just these groups of people, guys. This has been going on since we were small. Drew Barrymore, the Corey Haim, Corey Feldman. Although you got to watch what Corey Feldman says. I've come to find out, I think he makes up a lot of his stuff. But a lot of the child stars were going to clubs, nightclubs, guys, where there's alcohol and cocaine and sex going on in the corner and drugs here and drugs there that are being handed off to 9 and 10-year-old kids. The industry itself is rotten to the core. None of that should happen. And what happens is these parents, not all of them, but a lot of these parents, all they see are dollar signs. They're handed over hundreds of thousands of dollars to basically, in my opinion, and you guys don't take this the wrong way, but in my opinion, they're pimping out their children to the industry because they're promised all this money.
The saying.
It's horrible. Go ahead.
The saying. It takes money to make money.
And money is the root of all evil, and it absolutely is nothing but all evil, folks. Absolutely. These people.
Do you know that there's a 24-year age difference between Justin Bieber and P Diddy?
Oh yeah, definitely. Diddy's older than me, and Justin is just, in my opinion, he's still a kid. He's an adult now, but he's still a kid. You know what I mean?
He's 30 years old right now.
Right, exactly. But still, I mean, this started way back then. He was a teenager in high school, basically.
Exactly. My point is, what I'm making is, I'm looking at the age of where he was at the time.
At the time, yeah. Right.
So in my mind, he's a kid at this time.
100%. 15. Diddy was what, 30 something?
He was in his 30s. He had to be, because like I said, it's like
that's so gross. So gross.
It's a 24-year age difference.
And it's insane to me. It really is. But that's what I'm saying. That it goes all the way back to when we were younger. The child stars that we used to watch on the TV shows that we liked and the movies that we liked, and the music stars, their parents, allowed for this to happen in some senses because they were blinded. Here's a check for $100,000, and let me take your child. I'm going to make them a star, and you're going to get all these benefits from it. Meanwhile, what we're actually doing is the most disgusting things you could ever imagine. And these parents don't see it for what it is. Some of them caught on early on from some of the stories I've read and heard, but some of them didn't care, guys, either. They didn't care. Okay. Some of these parents.
Yeah, You're 100% right. And, you know, look at all the legal issues and drama that Justin Bieber's been caught up in over the years. And I think a lot of that probably stems from his time with Usher and Diddy. I mean, look at
Agreed.
Drake Bell. He's a good example. You know, Drake Bell was molested on the set of
Yep.
The Amanda Show. And then he later went on to have issues himself involving a minor. It's
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely
Look
correct.
look look at all the legal issues that Justin Bieber had afterwards when he got his driver's license, all that. He was
Acting
he was
out.
always in the tabloids.
Well, he was. I think, in my opinion, a lot of that was acting out because of what he was going through in some senses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And he was given those opportunities. We were supposed to protect our children, you guys. I don't care if you're a movie star or not. You're still supposed to protect those children. They're children. That's
but
what
you
that
know
word.
what's sad? What's sad is that our child stars at least have some protections. They've got the Jackie Coogan laws because
Mhm.
back in the 20s and stuff, you know, the kids never saw any of the money. The parents spent it all or whatever.
Right.
At least they had some protections there. What really
But
bothers me,
think
not
about
to
this
go off
though.
on a separate not to go off on a separate tangent, but is these family channels on YouTube. Look at what we just went through
Oh yeah.
with what's her face,
The
the
one woman with her kids that she had locked in the basement and shit.
yeah,
I can't think of her name right now. What the hell was her name? Come on, you guys. You guys are usually pretty quick with this stuff. Remember the child?
Ruby Frankie.
Ruby Frankie.
Yeah,
That's it.
Okay.
you know, these kids, they don't have any protections, and there's no laws or regulations in place. You know, at least, you know, on these sets they can only work so many hours, but there's zero protections for these children on YouTube. And
Nope.
you know, some of these kids are like 2 years old, like they can even give consent for their
Yep.
image to be used to profit off of.
Yep.
You know, but the stuff with the entertainment industry in Hollywood is terrible. Harvey Weinstein, Nickelodeon, Disney, and most of the people are all connected to each other in these inner circles and stuff.
Very
And
true.
so it's
Miranda
yeah,
Cosgrove. iCarly, I think that was her name. She went through some shit on that, or what? There was a few people on that. No, it wasn't her. It was the blonde, Jeanette who? Jeanette McCurdy. That's right. That piece of garbage that was on Head of the Class, the fat dude. What was his name?
Dennis.
Dan Snyder. My kid knows
Yeah,
everything.
Dan
And
Snyder. I'm sorry. Yeah.
him. He took full advantage of all of those kids, all of them, Nickelodeon, and there was more than that. Okay, and yeah, that seems to be the norm, Paula. That's not the way it's supposed to be, not at all. But for the price to become a star, the price to be somebody in that industry seems to always be selling themselves. It's disgusting. It's insane. And then they grow up, Ariana Grande, right? Thank you, Cassie. They grow up and then they have their own issues. That's where a lot of these things come from as adults, then, because they've been through this. They don't know any different. And it makes you wonder, if that's the cost or the price, it ain't worth it. It's not, guys, at all.
Speaking about costs, when you're talking about protections, for these kids and all that, you have to look at where P. Diddy is and how much pull he had, and also money. And
Mhm.
money can get you pretty far.
Oh
Get
yeah,
away
it
with a
can do
lot of
everything.
stuff.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So I'm gonna jump down because my phone's about to die, but I just wanted to point all this out.
Oh no! I appreciate it, Chopper. I really do. Thank you so much for your input.
That's
It's
why I said.
always
That's why I
wonderful.
don't like money. That's the whole point when I said I wish that we could take the money out of the whole court system and everyone gets, tried equally.
That's right. That's a very huge point, sir. I do agree. Again, thank you for your input, Chopper. I appreciate you very much.
Thank you for having me. I'll see you
Anytime.
guys later.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, SRB, for that. I appreciate that very much. So yeah, I mean, it goes way back to even Articus bringing up the Jackie Coogan laws. Like, this was a thing back in the day when Judy Garland as a child star, or I'm trying to think of others, but when they were younger, their parents took all their money, and then these kids ended up broke. These stars ended up broke. Thank God some of them figured out how to handle it and stuff like that. But they had to emancipate some of these kids from their families because they were stealing their money, you know, and it's a sad thing. But that has nothing to do with the other stuff. But it all wraps itself up together, in my opinion. Welcome, Daniela. Good to see you tonight. Yeah, the Nickelodeon. Go ahead.
Look at all the trouble all those kids from different strokes got into over the years. Now, two of them are dead.
One of them
One
almost
of them has been in trouble with drugs and alcohol his whole life.
Yep.
So, I mean, and what happens is that, with a lot of the child stars, not all of them, but they'll do a couple of movies or a hit TV show when they're a kid, 5, 6 years old, and once they outgrow that cuteness, then they don't have,
they throw them off to the side, right?
Yeah,
they don't need them
yeah.
anymore, and that's sad to me. That is so sad to me. I think Selena Gomez was safe. She was pretty smart and she had a solid family, from what I understand, Leslie. Where was I? Somebody else said something else. Yeah, thank you for coming up, Chopper. It's always a pleasure. And then we got J-Lo now that is going to be held accountable too, at some senses. They're talking about, like I said, Leo DiCaprio supposedly is hiding out now because he had some kind of involvement in some stuff. Congrats, Daniela. Thank you for becoming part of the sauce. We appreciate you. We got a new meatball, guys, and welcome to the family. That's so very much appreciated. But guys, there's so much of it, and this is just like scratching the surface. And I gotta wonder, when Cosby went down, I thought at that time it was going to bring the tower tumbling down, but I guess Cosby was his own entity in some senses. Okay. And again, like I said, it broke my heart because Bill Cosby was America's dad, in my opinion. We all grew up watching the Cosby Show, and he was just Dr. You know what I mean? Dr. Huxtable. And we all looked up to that as America's dad. A lot of the kids that didn't have solid family lives and parents looked to him as a role model. Come to find out, he was the worst in some senses back then at that time, picture pages and all that stuff he did for kids, but he's doing this on the background. It's very scary to me. Welcome, Penny. Good to see you. Good to have you here. It's okay. No worries. I'm glad to have you here. Shelby, good to see you today as well. It is time to be enough. It's time. These people are just like the rest of us, guys. They put their pants on one leg at a time. They just so happen to have a talent. Some of them don't even have talent. They're just found, unluckily for them in some senses, and brought into the industry, and then their lives are ruined. It's a very sad thing. It's just really, really sad. So, again, guys, don't forget, for those of you that are just jumping in, hit that like button if you will, please. I really appreciate it. So let's check this out to start with. Mom, Arctic, again, thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate you very much, as always. Yeah. That's another big one, Arctic. Thank you. I was going to bring that up in the beginning, and I lost track of my thought. But Ashton Kutcher, listen, guys, most of us were huge fans of that 70s show. And Ashton Kutcher was in some great movies. Very funny guy. We just saw what happened with Danny Masterson within a year ago, maybe 2 max. I mean, he's down. He got brought down and he went away. And Kutcher supported him. He had to know. They worked on the same set. They worked in the same stuff. You had to know, and you're supporting this. So in turn, guilt by association is a true thing, folks. I've seen it. I've been part of it. It is what it is. I can't. It breaks my heart because I loved Ashton Kutcher. I thought he was hilarious. You know what I mean? But I can't support somebody like that, and I won't. I will not. And yeah, I was going to say that, Shelby. He was also involved, from my understanding, at some of P. Diddy's parties. But he advocates for all this other stuff. How do you do that at the same time as what you do in the background? That's just, I don't get how people do this. It blows my mind. So, blows my mind. And it really does ruin a lot of stuff that we have grown to love. That's the sad part. So, therefore, in turn, I'm glad that we're the ones that are able to put this shit out. You know what I'm saying? Cassie, that's a good point. Guilty conscious. One good deed does not fix 50 bad deeds. I'm just going to put it that way. So remember that, you guys. Just because you came out and did something advocating for this doesn't fix all the other bullshit you've done. That's the biggest hypocritical thing I've ever seen in my life. It's a joke. So just saying. All right, let's check this out here with what these Nick Carter. Oh, yeah, Nick Carter, Aaron Carter. I think Aaron Carter, I'm not going to be a conspiracy theorist right now, but I have a pretty, I don't want to say 100% feeling, but I'm going to say 50-50 feeling that Aaron Carter dying had something to do with something involving some of this kind of stuff. Truly, okay? He could have just died because he died doing stuff that he shouldn't have done or because of whatever, but I still feel after watching him do YouTube videos, I think it was, or TikTok, I can't remember which one I watched it, but the things he said, and then all of a sudden he's dead. Something's not right with that. Just saying, okay? So, I don't know. Aaron was completely broken, Shelby. I agree with that one. So on we go.
Howard Stern once asked Usher about Diddy's wild parties. Here's what he said.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
And we've got another Diddy associate who's noticeably quiet this morning, Justin Bieber. The singer becoming acquainted with Diddy around the age of 15 years old. And many are speculating that Bieber could be a victim, but Bieber himself has not commented. Our question this morning, which celebrities will break the deafening silence? We got an awesome power panel standing by. Let's bring them in now. Law enforcement expert Sonny Slaughter, entertainment commentator Holland Reed, and corrections officer and the former president of the New York City Correction Officers Union, Elias Hussamadeen. Good morning to you all. Holland Reed, I want to start with you, please. The entertainment industry is abuzz. Tell us what you're hearing this morning.
What I'm hearing this morning is that we've gone from just shaking in the boots to sheer panic. As you said in your opening statements, Julie, the silence is deafening, especially from longtime associates of Diddy, such as J-Lo, who dated him for a very long time in the early 2000s, Usher, who was one of his proteges, along with Justin Bieber. These are people that had firsthand accounts and experiences with this man, and they are quiet. And the reason being is they don't know what part of their experiences are on those tapes that the FBI has and what they got during those raids. They don't know if it was criminal or just a part of whatever, their adult consent, pleasure, whatever you want to call it. But what they're worried about now is their own brand, their own empires, their own careers. And if they had any part of planning or any part of knowing about the minors or the sex workers there, they're going to be in big trouble as well.
Oh, you're so right, Holland. You're so right. Sonny Slaughter, let's talk about that. When we think about famous celebrities who are shaking in their boots this morning, I would imagine these investigators are going to want to talk to a lot of people, that a lot of interviews may still need to be done. Would you speak to that, please, Sonny, the investigation aspect of this and what more needs to be done to gather all the information about what Diddy allegedly did?
Good morning, Julie, and my esteemed colleagues. So what I can tell you is that there has already been a lot of conversation with some of the celebrities that have been identified as victims, and another term that I use is victim perpetrators. So although some of these individuals may have been victims, they may have also been perpetrators that participated in the forced fraud and coercion of others. So those investigations, those conversations have already started, and everyone, as I have stated before, needs to obtain legal counsel. HSI, which we call Homeland Security Investigation, is the lead agency on this. They are the best at what they do. They are also working in concert with the FBI, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the U.S. Postal Service, the Department of Corrections, local, state, and other agencies to determine exactly where the intersection of criminal activity and the investigations need to take place. So this is an ongoing multi-jurisdictional agency investigation, and people with who have attended these parties, who may have seen something and didn't say something. Everybody needs to get an attorney because everyone will get questions. One of the things, last thing that I'll say, one of the things that Diddy did, which has helped in this investigation, is that in the attempt and allegedly for forced fraud and coercion, he created his own narrative with the tapes, the videos, and everything that law enforcement can review. So this is a tracking and trending operation where they already have enough evidence, which is why the first indictment has come down, and you can expect that there will be more.
Great information, Sunny. Thank you for all of that. One person who is speaking out, rapper Shine. Remember him, Diddy's artist? Back when that nightclub shooting happened in New York, we all heard about it. Diddy was there, Jennifer Lopez was there. And we know that Shine was the one left holding the bag. And even though there was a witness who said it was not Shine who shot me, Shine wound up being convicted, being deported. Let's take a listen to some of what he has said about Diddy.
Let us not lose sight of what the cold hard facts are. This was not someone who I vacationed with and who he and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life.
Okay, Elias Hussamadeen, last but certainly not least, I want to go to you, please, and tap into your experience. Everybody's wondering, is Diddy going to sing like a canary now that he is locked up and not living his lavish lifestyle? There are many people who believe he could bring a lot of famous people down if he talks. What do you think may happen, Elias?
Quite frankly, there's no telling what's going to happen under these circumstances. Sometimes people break and sometimes they talk. One of the things that I was asked about was whether or not he should be placed or whether or not he's placed under a suicide watch. And in those situations when we have people of his notoriety in jail, suicide watch is something that it would be negligent not to put him under, considering what's going on and everything that's been said since we've been on this broadcast, and considering that suicide is the #1 cause of death inside the jails and the prison. But there's a possibility that he, as well as others in the past, might break.
I see it potentially happening, because when I look at this indictment, I mean, this is nasty. This is filthy, dirty stuff being alleged. And I would imagine if there's any hope of a deal, Diddy would take it. I want to play a clip from someone who is famous in the industry, someone that, knows Diddy. There's a long history there. And he's in lockup right now. The difference is he's a real hardened gangster. Suge Knight speaking out about Diddy and talking about the things he's done, potentially catching up. This is prior to the indictment as well. Let's play a clip of what Suge said on his podcast.
I tell you what, puppy. Your life is in danger. Because you know the secrets. Who's involved in that little secret room you guys participating in. Oh yeah, by the way. Do not do your time going by Brother Love. Brother Love is not a good code name for prison. I'm out.
Oh my gosh, it's like he's prophesizing there. Holland Reed, let me go back to you here. I know you heard this when he released it, and now the Diddy's indicted. Your thoughts, please.
Let me just say this. I've met.
See, that says something in itself. Suge Knight is the last person that should be talking about crimes, but he knows. They know. They all were together with all this stuff, okay? In a lot of senses. And that was pre-indictment, guys. So he knew this was coming. He's doing his time. He don't give a shit now what he says. Just saying. And there's a lot more that is involved in that back end of things, in my opinion, too. I do agree he knows. You heard him say, your life is in danger because you know the secrets. And now that he's been arrested, everybody knows Diddy's probably a bitch and he's going to roll on everybody. I'm waiting to see. I said this earlier a couple days ago when I first saw this happen. I'm waiting to see who Diddy rolls on, because he's going to try to get out of this. Because with what he's got hanging over his head right now, he could do a lot of time. Okay, this guy's too pampered to do all that time. I'm just saying. And guess what? He's going to roll on somebody or somebody's. And that's why I think Should said your life was in danger, because somebody will take him out before they'll allow him to roll. I'm just saying. Think about that. Yeah, Jeff does have a lot of knowledge. It's kind of funny.
Suge Knight one time, and that is the most menacing, scariest person I've ever met in my life, standing in his presence, and I never would like to do that again. He's also somebody that knows what it's like to intimidate witnesses and people. That's why these celebrities are keeping quiet, because they were scared for their life. Kim Porter was scared, Cassie was scared, but now here we are. And I think hopefully people will start talking, simply because he is in jail and he is locked up. But they are still scared. Puffy has goons. He did not do this alone. Suge Knight knows what he's talking about, and they better listen.
So well said, Holland. Thank you for that. Suge says Diddy's got the secrets. And so let's talk about something that is possibly one of those secrets. We've got online sleuths, of course, all over this. And this morning, they're taking a hard look at the death of Diddy's longtime former girlfriend, the mother of some of his children, Kim Porter. Remember her? She died in 2018 at the age of 47. 47. Her cause of death was listed officially as pneumonia. And we know that Kim Porter was working on a tell-all book at the time, which, by the way, may still get released. People very close to her and Diddy say that she was a victim of years of physical and sexual abuse. A former bodyguard for Combs has repeatedly talked about it online. Take a listen.
He broke Kim, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht. So Cassie's story is Kim's story. Cassie's book is Kim's book.
Gene Deal right there seems to know what he's talking about. So our question to our power panel now, is Kim Porter's death going to be investigated? Let's bring them back in. Sunny Slaughter, I want to go to you on this, please. What do you think?
I think there's an opportunity for them to reopen the investigation into Kim Porter's death and to really start listening to what some of the people in her camp and friends have been saying all along. This is not a news story around Kim Porter, and I hope that it really does get the eyes that it deserves, because these are horrific allegations. And although they're allegations, they're so horrifying, and so many people knew and so many people ignored. And there's a reason why many people did. But right now, I think there's an opportunity to look at this death more intentionally and to get justice, if necessary, for Kim Porter and for her children, their children.
Yes, Sonny. Well said. And for anybody wondering legally, always remember this little teachable moment. With homicide, there's no statute of limitations. So if it was a death in that way, then investigators can proceed with charging. And so as of right now,
I would almost make a bet. I'm going to run a poll, but I would almost make a bet that before this whole thing is over with him, that he's going to be charged with either complicity to murder or I can't think of the charge right now with setting it up, but I'm probably almost sure that that's going to happen, you guys, in my opinion.
now, pneumonia is what it was officially deemed. We'll see if it gets cracked open in light of all of these circumstances. Elias Hussamadeen, I want to tap into your experience with corrections work. So tell us, as we wrap up this segment for today, and we're going to be talking about Diddy every day, just about, tell me, if you had to give him some advice on how to live in lockup, because this is not what he's used to. As we know, he doesn't have wait staff and, a masseuse and whatever else he has in his daily life, a chauffeur. How would you recommend he live for his own safety and security in there?
In the past, most people of notoriety like Diddy, that we've had in custody, in jail, usually they spend a lot of time in solitude by themselves. because they can't even be in general populations because there's no telling what's going to happen, what they're going to do. So he's going to spend a lot of time alone, thinking about everything that's going on. And the best advice would just keep your head down and pay attention to your surroundings, because there's not a whole lot that somebody that's used to the type of lifestyle that he's used to is ever going to adjust to. And I guess the quicker this trial is over for him, the better it is for him, where he could actually, when he goes away, begin to live that life that inmates or detainees have to live.
Right, Elias. So you said, keep your head down. I feel like Diddy could really take a page out of Suge Knight's book in that regard. You know, Suge kept his mouth shut. That is one thing that he has historically done. He's known for not breaking that code of silence. And oh boy, we'll see what happens. To be continued. Big thanks to our tremendous power panel today. Elias Hussamadeen, Sonny Slaughter, Holland Reed. Thank you all for.
All right, so there is that to start with. So again, hold on a minute, guys. 1 second, everybody.
And he subjected victims to physical, emotional. When Combs didn't get his way, he was violent. And he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs.
The freak-off, a term that has now not only become synonymous with Sean Diddy Combs, but it is at the center of his federal sex crimes case. We're going to explain some of the major accusations and details surrounding the freak-offs and what this could mean for the indicted rapper. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. There is one term that has gone viral since the indictment of Sean Diddy Combs, more than anything else. You've heard it here on Sidebar. You've heard it amplified in the media. It is called a freak-off. This alleged sexual performance that is at the center of this criminal case facing the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs. And I'm going to go over some of the details of these freak-off sessions as laid out in the government's indictment and in their subsequent letters that they filed with the court when they argued against Combs' bail, which, by the way, was denied twice. Now, he's currently locked up in the Brooklyn Detention Center. Combs is facing charges of racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution. We've mentioned it before, but he could be looking at 15 years to life in prison. That's how.
That's very true, Willie. One other thing, though, is I saw that list as well, and Diddy's name is on the Epstein list. So that tells you right there. It's a mismatch. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild, though, for sure. It makes sense.
Serious these charges are. But the main theme here, the main allegation, is that Combs led a criminal enterprise. And the goal of this criminal enterprise, other than to operate a global media and entertainment business, was to engage in the abuse of women, sex trafficking, forced labor, prostitution, the distribution of drugs, to use violence and threats, to commit crimes like kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice, to carry out their goals, their missions, all the while making sure to satisfy the sexual desires of Sean Combs. And one of those desires, as alleged by the government, by prosecutors, and also alleged by several Combs accusers in separate civil lawsuits that they filed against him, were the commission of freak-offs. So with that in mind, now we're going to...
Look, we have two presidents that have been named already within this possibility of this too. Obama, Trump, and I'm not surprised. I'm really not, to be honest with you. I'm sure that there's a Clinton in there somewhere too. I'm just saying, guys, Power is power, is power, is power, and money. Period. Abuse. Why couldn't these people just take the money that they made and enjoy it? No, instead they use it to exploit and destroy people's lives. It's disgusting to me.
Get into these shocking details surrounding these freak-offs. And I guess we should start with saying, what are freak-offs, right? Well, let's go to the indictment. It says, quote, Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, pleasured himself during, and often electronically recorded. Now, while this indictment came down, I said at the time, this may be a term that is foreign to any person that was not familiar with Sean Combs, but for me, who's been following this whole saga for, a year now, I have heard this term multiple times, because in the Cassandra Ventura lawsuit, Combs' ex-girlfriend, and Rodney Little Rod Jones lawsuit, this is Combs' former producer, they discussed the freak-offs in their sexual assault lawsuits. Now, Ventura alleged, among other things, that Combs would demand her participation in freak-offs and that she would have to be forced to hire the male sex workers and that this could happen at any random moment. Jones alleged, among other things, that Combs' son Justin Combs and DJ and record producer Stevie J would engage in freak-offs. Now, to be clear, those specific allegations, those names, those details were not mentioned as part of the criminal case. I will tell you, though, that the idea of this freak-off, now that it is officially part of the criminal case, now that it's mentioned multiple times, this makes me wonder two things from a legal point of view. Number one, it is such a wild concept and a phraseology that it's hard to believe that this is something that was just made up by Combs' accusers. And when I say Combs' accusers, could that be Ventura? Yes. Could that be Jones? Yes. Perhaps the government got this information, this idea of the freak-offs originally from them. And by the way, when I say Combs' accusers, could be Ventura, could be Jones, perhaps the
Have a great night, Mark and Betty. Get some sleep. And thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you very much. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
government got this idea of the freak-offs from them originally, but we don't know. To be clear, we do not know for sure. We do not know who the accusers are.
He was married to Kim Porter, JC. I think he was married to somebody else, too. I know he was with J-Lo at one point, but I know he was married to Kim Porter, and she's now deceased, so...
The victims are in this criminal case, who the government's witnesses are, whoever those people may be, because we don't know for sure who is cooperating with the government right now. But the bottom line is the idea of the freak-off, there's enough there to substantiate it that the government is moving forward with this. And again, it is so wild. It's such a wild concept to come up with that I wonder if an argument will be made that, look, jury, this has to be true. No one can honestly make something like this up. And as you'll see, it doesn't appear it was just witness testimony that corroborates the idea of the freak-offs happening, the existence of these freak-offs, but there's more, and I'll get to that. But this also leads me to a secondary point, that based upon what we are already seeing from Combs' defense counsel during bail arguments, they may not deny that these freak-offs happened, or even that Combs called them freak-offs. They may say, yeah, you know what? He engaged in freak-offs. That's what he called them. But they were consensual. That's the idea. They were consensual. This is not a crime. Talking about Sean Combs and these allegations, does it not show you just how scary the world can be, how unpredictable the world can be? And you know what? You know what one of the most unpredictable things can be in life? Something that is truly terrifying that comes out of nowhere. If you get injured, right? That comes out of nowhere. But it's important to realize that at those moments, what your rights are and whether you could be compensated for your injury? Well, that's where our sponsor and proud partner of Sidebar, Morgan & Morgan, comes in. This is America's largest injury law firm. They have an army of over 1,000 attorneys who will fight for what you deserve. They have the track record to prove it. In the past few months, Morgan & Morgan won verdicts like $12 million in Florida, $26 million in Philadelphia, $6.8 million in New York. And mind you, these are all considerably higher than the highest insurance offers in these cases. Truly, your case could be worth millions of dollars. And even if it's not, why not start a claim and get the money that you do deserve? Seeing if you have a case can be done in 8 clicks or less. Also, totally free. It's absolutely free unless you win. They're only getting paid if you get paid. So if you're injured, you can easily start a claim at forthepeople.com/LC sidebar, or you can click the link in the description and pinned in the comments. And I want to explore that a little bit more. Let's explore a little bit more details of these freak-offs. So the indictment continues, quote, freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often involved multiple commercial sex workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes, unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. That is something. And the government would allege that these freak-offs, they have been happening since 2009, that those drugs consisted of ketamine, GHB, ecstasy. Now, in terms of the defense of consent, the defense could say, well, these people knowingly and voluntarily took drugs, but if it's true that Combs kept videos that these participants didn't know about, that could be problematic for him, especially since we learned the government may have the goods to back all of this up. In their bail letter to the judge, they write, quote, the evidence against the defendant, which would be made public at trial, includes substantial evidence that is highly sensitive and has the potential to significantly and negatively impact the defendant's reputation. For example, dozens of video recordings created by the defendant of freak-offs with victims. I mean, we wondered what was collected by federal authorities after they raided Combs' homes in LA and Miami back in March. There were reports that they collected digital evidence. In fact, further on in the government's letter, prosecutors write, quote, setting aside devices seized in connection with the defendant's arrest, the government has obtained over 90 cell phones, laptops, cloud storage accounts, as well as over 30 other electronic and storage devices such as hard drives, thumb drives, cameras, and a surveillance system. The government also wrote, victim testimony regarding freak-offs is at times corroborated by other witness testimony, communications with the defendant and commercial sex workers, travel records, hotel records, videos of the freak-offs, and records reflecting or indicating payment. By the way, you're talking about evidence of freak-offs. Prosecutors revealed one other way that they can prove that these freak-off events happen, because in the government's bail letter, it states, the defendant arranged freak-offs with the assistance of members and associates of the enterprise, including employees of his business, and the hotel rooms where they were staged often sustained significant damages. So the prosecution's letter goes on to state that, for example, in approximately 2012 in Manhattan, the defendant paid over $46,000 to cover damages to a penthouse hotel room following a freak-off. Yeah. Now, I imagine the government plans to produce receipts of this, some documentation or witness testimony to corroborate that account, because it'll be tough for the defense to say, why else did that hotel room sustain allegedly $46,000 worth of damages if it wasn't for this wild sexual performance event? But again, you can see why the government's putting that evidence forward to suggest that these freak-offs occurred. Now, going back to that idea of consent, this defense of consent, I couple that with something else that I've been hearing. I've seen people say, why are these freak-offs a crime, right? You might be wild sexual encounters, but why is this sex trafficking? Why is this racketeering? Well, as laid out in the indictment, but also this was articulated by Damian Williams, the United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Here's what he had to say in a press conference after the unsealing of this indictment.
That's another thing. That's another thing is that, and some of the other people that are involved in this, maybe even more deeper or higher up than he is, I got to be pissed right now. Why didn't this idiot with the money that he has, and I'll tell you why after I say this, cover his tracks with this? Because he thought he was untouchable. Because he got away with it for so long, he never thought that he would be able to be hurt by this. So he didn't bother to hide anything. Well, guess what, you dumbass? I'm glad he didn't. He's not smart enough. He thinks he's smart, right? You weren't smart enough to hide this. And now the whole world sees you for who you are. You're done, bro. Your music career is done. Your life is done. I'm sorry. And I really still think that they're going to make an example out of him and everybody else involved. Because it's going to be expected now. It's going to be expected for him to not get away with this at this point. So it's going to be a freak off, Cap. Gotcha. Yeah, that's just so stupid. A freak off. That says alone this guy's mentality. Grow up.
As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial sex workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. When Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee.
That's the thing I'm saying, CZ. Welcome, by the way. He didn't think it, and I don't think any of us ever thought that it would. It was just going to go away. It'd be covered up. It'd be paid off. But guess what? I don't think that's going to happen anymore. The anticipation, the expectations for this at this point now, never going to be let go at this point, in my opinion.
As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims.
And that's the key. It's using power, violence, threats, coercion, force to get people to participate in sexual activity. That is illegal. Sex trafficking is when you use such methods for the purposes of commercial sex, usually over state lines. Commercial sex is when money is offered for sexual services or something else of value. And one of the things that the indictment mentions is how Combs would allegedly dangle promises of career opportunities or threatening to withhold financial support to get people to do what he wanted. Now, you heard Damian Williams mention that 2016 incident. So even if you hadn't been following the Combs legal saga for the past year, everyone saw that video that was published by CNN of Combs allegedly beating Cassandra Ventura back in.
That's what I'm saying, Jerry. He is not strong enough to withstand all this. He's gonna roll. He's gonna roll. There's somebody higher up than him in this than him. I promise you. Somebody way higher up, somebody that has more access, that has caused more damage, that introduced it to him, per se. That's who he's going to roll on. And that's where his life is probably going to end. That's why Suge said, you know secrets, your life is in danger. That right there is where that's coming from. I promise you guys. I promise.
In 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel in LA, all while wearing a robe. This is something that Ventura alleged had happened when she filed her lawsuit back in November of 2023. But when that video was released, we all saw with our own eyes what apparently transpired. And we know Sean Combs issued an apology on Instagram 2 days after the release of that tape. But how this ties to the freak-off?
Welcome, bro,
The
guy.
allegation was the reason he was in a towel, the reason she was allegedly running away, the reason he allegedly beat her was because she was trying to escape a freak-off. And as Ventura alleged, Prosecutors say Combs tried to cover up this event. In the bail letter, prosecutors write, quote, when a member of hotel security staff intervened, the defendant attempted to offer the hotel security officer a stack of cash to ensure his silence. After the security guard refused the defendant's bribe, and after coordination between the defendant and his employees, the defendant's staff contacted other members of hotel security. At the same time, staff members were in close communication with the victim of the assault as well, all in an effort to cover up the defendant's assault and to prevent the incident from being publicly disclosed. Within days of the incident, the surveillance video disappeared from the hotel's server. By the way, that brings me to another point about the freak-offs. How many people allegedly helped Combs do this? As the indictment reads, quote, members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with the required freak-off supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting, cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs to try to mitigate room damage, arranging for travel for victims, commercial sex workers, and Combs to and from freak-offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and scheduling the delivery of IV fluids. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Wow. So assuming the government did in fact collect all of this evidence, again, I don't think there's a great defense for why someone would have that much baby oil and lubricant. So the defense will probably be like, yeah, my client engaged in these sexual sessions, but hey, that's not illegal on its face. Everyone agreed to it. It's all consensual. But here's the larger point. First, you can see how this supports the racketeering conspiracy charge that Combs faces, right? The idea that there was an agreement to create and further a criminal enterprise. Combs can't do this alone.
Yes, absolutely. Mitakuye, welcome. It's been a while. Good to see you again. But yes, you're absolutely right. Jaguar, for sure, has been putting this out for a long time, and nobody would listen to her. Here we are. You know what I mean? That much sex, I could imagine there's a ton of dehydration. People may have literally died from coming. I almost said that out loud. Damn it, Arctic. Jesus. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Prosecutors need to prove he conspired with others in this criminal enterprise to break the law. So you see this alleged coordination between multiple people at his behest. But this also helps explain potential witnesses that may be working with the government. Those people that used to work for Combs, associated with Combs.
You know, I heard, and that's just word of mouth, so it doesn't mean it's true. I heard a rumor a while back, even though Diddy was very close with Biggie, that Diddy very possibly had involvement with Biggie's life being taken. The Tupac thing is more understandable, but Biggie kind of made Diddy who he was in some senses, in my opinion, okay, in the early years. But to be involved in his death is pretty crazy to me, but I've heard that it's a very huge possibility. So just saying, guys, there's that too.
Help facilitate these alleged freak-offs that may now be key witnesses at a future trial. After all, what did the prosecution write in their letter to the judge? The government has conducted interviews with over 50 victims and witnesses, many of whom saw or experienced the defendant's abuse. Many of these witnesses corroborate one another, and their accounts are similarly consistent with the other types of evidence discussed below. The government only expects that number to continue to grow, given that the investigation, which is now public, is ongoing. And we did another sidebar on the potential that people will come forward or take deals to cooperate with the government. You can check it out on our Long Crime YouTube page. But if you thought that all of that wasn't shocking enough when it comes to the freak-offs, I want to leave you with one final allegation regarding these freak-offs. And this is something that prosecutors mentioned in their second letter regarding bail. So let's not forget, Combs was first
That's exactly what I heard too, Sherry. That Biggie knew that Diddy was involved in Tupac's death. Okay, and that could have been what promoted Biggie's life being taken. That's the whole story that I was told at one point in time and read too after somebody brought it to my attention. I was just like, damn, really? I mean, this is the man that made you who you were, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Of course, he would deny it. He was shit for, he couldn't rap, he couldn't sing, he couldn't nothing, but he was okay with promoting other people. So, again, this is going to implode Hollywood and the music industry, in my opinion. And I'm glad. Maybe it'll shut it down, and our these kids and these people will stop being ruined. Okay, their lives. I'm just saying. Yes, he was leaving Bad Boy Records. That's true too. That was part of the story that I read. And he was a huge, huge moneymaker for Bad Boy. Again, you just don't know.
First denied bail by a magistrate judge. He appealed that decision to a district court judge, and that judge is supposed to review this with fresh eyes, doesn't have to provide necessarily deference to what this other judge did. So the government doubled down to show how much of a danger Sean Combs is, how he can't be trusted on the outside, how he needs to be detained pending trial. And in their second letter, they write, quote, "Indeed, since at least in or about January 2024, when the defendant was unquestionably aware of the criminal investigation, the evidence shows that he is engaged in multiple freak-offs, some involving the interstate transportation of individuals to participate, has continued to use narcotics, and has contacted multiple witnesses." So if true, the government is saying these freak-offs are not years old. They are essentially still happening. This was after he had already been sued.
That's very true. Mays turned to priesthood. That's got to scare. Like, what the hell did he see that made him go that direction that far? You know what I mean? That's a good point, Daniela. Very good point. KPD telling. That's what I think may have brought some of this out is KPD when this whole Tupac thing started. That's what I think brought some of this out, guys, is the investigation when they got closer to all this. Truly, I'm just saying. Welcome back, Zelda.
And after the idea of the freak-off had become publicized through those lawsuits people were talking about in the media, and he's still allegedly engaged in this behavior, that's huge for prosecutors. And of course, here, we know that Combs was denied bail.
Enjoy your dinner,
by the secondary judge. So there you have it. A full breakdown of the freak-off allegations, how they tie into the larger overall case. And to be clear, I'm sure this is not the last time we will hear this term, or we will hear more details surrounding
very good
the
point,
freak-offs.
Murky. Very good point.
That's all we have for you right now here on Sidebar, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And as always, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your.
And here's the funny thing with this, guys. I've been thinking about this too. I got to wonder if all the songs that Diddy produced, all the music that Diddy produced that had any kind of a hand in it, they're going to take it off the air because it's promoting him. Okay. And all that money, those royalties is gone. Just saying. That's a question I have. I really do. Mom is back.
I don't think they'll do that just simply because even when the Harvey Weinstein and the Kevin Spacey shit hit the fan, they didn't take all their movies off the shelves or anything like that. So
no, that makes sense. Like I said, somebody asked me that in an email bringing this up the other day, and I said I don't know, but I gotta wonder. That is a good point. You know what I mean? But you're right. Yeah, when Kevin Spacey got, then again, he was never charged with anything, was he? I don't think
I don't believe so. The statute of limitations had run out, but I mean, there was credible evidence to back up his accusers. So,
yeah, makes sense. Hold on a minute. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, wait, is that it? Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second.
A former Bad Boy rapper who was once the protege of Sean Diddy Combs is speaking out on his former mentor in the wake of his sex trafficking arrest. Former Bad Boy Records rapper turned politician Moses Barrow, better known by his stage name Shine, isn't shying away from how he really feels about the mogul, saying in part his former mentor ruined his life. The two have a seemingly complicated relationship after Shine was sentenced to prison for nearly a decade, stemming from a shooting involving Combs and his then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez.
And this shooting, by the way, the witness to the person, or the witness to this and the person that had been shot, I believe, claimed that Diddy, or that Shine wasn't the one that shot him, but Shine was handed the gun after the thing went down and was basically took the fall for Diddy on this scenario. Bullshit, guys. That's bullshit. That is what this person has been doing to people for years in different variations.
It makes you wonder how many murders that Diddy is connected to. I mean, there's Kim Porter's, there's Tupac's,
Biggie,
the one that John got accused of. I mean, how many is he connected to?
That's right, and that's right, exactly. Sherry just said that Diddy shot her, but handed the gun off to Shine. I'm telling you guys, I tell you, by the end of this, there are going to be murder charges that come out against him too, because it's all going to open up. I think, I really do. Aaliyah wasn't shot, but the way she went down, I'm telling you, him and R. Kelly were pretty close at that time. They were all in the same group. I'm just saying. There's too much coincidence with this, and I don't really believe in coincidence and true crime, you guys. That's what I'm saying. So think about it for a minute. If he got away with all that other stuff and he thought he could get away with all that other stuff, why would he not think he could get away with murder? Just saying. And he has until now if he did. That's all I'm saying.
Go back to the beginning. In 1998, Shine was freestyling in a Brooklyn barber shop when he was discovered by hip-hop producer DJ Clark Kent, who was working on Biggie's posthumous album Born Again. The DJ took Shine to Bad Boy Studios, where Combs, who was then going by Puff Daddy at the time, signed him on the spot to his record label. Combs took the budding rapper under his wing, and at the time, he was on his way to having a thriving rap career. But everything would change just a year later. In the early hours of December 27th of 1999, Puffy, his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, and a 21-year-old Shine went to a nightclub in Times Square. While there, an argument over a spilled drink broke out between Puffy and a man named Matthew Allen, aka Scar, a Brooklyn gangster, who reportedly wasn't impressed by Puffy boasting about his money. According to former NYPD detective Derek Parker, the then Puff Daddy was throwing money around and acting like a big shot, and Scar felt disrespected by his antics. Parker said after words were exchanged between Scar and Puffy, bullets began to fly. 3 bystanders were shot and injured inside the nightclub. After the shooting, Puffy, along with his girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones, fled the club. They later took police on a chase with Diddy's driver, blowing through several red lights. When they were eventually pulled over and when police searched the vehicle, they found a 9mm handgun in the trunk. Combs, Lopez, and Jones were all arrested. Lopez was released after 14 hours in custody. Diddy was indicted on the charges and faced charges of criminal possession of an unregistered gun and attempted bribery for allegedly trying to get his bodyguard Anthony Jones to claim the weapon was his. So it would be the music mogul, his bodyguard Anthony Jones, and Puffy's protege Shine who would all go to trial. Prosecutors say it was Matthew Scar Allen, Combs, and Shine who all drew guns and claimed that Shine shot 3 times into the packed nightclub. Witnesses testified Scar started the argument with Combs and said he threatened to kill Shine. Shine, meanwhile, said he acted in self-defense, as he maintained he had fired into the air and didn't believe that it was the bullets from his gun that injured the bystanders. At the trial, a ballistics expert testified that the 3 injuries may have been caused by a second gunman. The expert testified that at least 1 injury may have been caused by a .40 caliber weapon, and .40 caliber shell casings were found on the floor, and Shine had a 9mm. In 2001, Combs and his bodyguard Anthony Wolf Jones were acquitted on all charges, and while Shine was acquitted of attempted murder, he was convicted on charges including assault, reckless endangerment, and criminal possession of an illegal weapon. The Bad Boy rapper was sentenced to 10 years in prison, but released in 2009 after 9 years. After Shine's release, he was deported to Belize for being a non-citizen felon. The following year, he moved to Jerusalem, where he changed his name to Moses Michael Levi. Then 3 years later, Shine returned to Belize and began his political career, now elected as the leader of the opposition in Belize's House of Representatives. During a press conference last week, the rapper, now politician, was asked about his former mentor in the wake of his sex trafficking arrest. Shine told reporters, "This is someone who destroyed my life." He went on to say, "This is someone who, in a sense, testified against me when I was on trial. I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me. He pretty much sent me to prison." While the former artist said he forgave the mogul and moved on, he acknowledged Diddy's efforts to help promote education in Belize, but has distanced himself from his former mentor. He said, "This is not someone who I vacation with, and I enjoyed this great intimate relationship of brotherhood. This is someone who destroyed my life." When asked about Diddy's freak-offs that were mentioned in Diddy's indictment and previous lawsuits, Shine replied in part, "I have nothing to do with Sean Combs' personal life. Everything was strictly on a professional level." Shine went on to say, "Do I take any satisfaction in what he is going through? Absolutely not." Diddy and Shine's relationship seemed amicable in the recent years. The two performed together last year in Europe, and in August of last year, just 3 months before Cassie's jaw-dropping lawsuit was filed, which arguably signaled the beginning of the end for the mogul, Diddy posted this photo to his Instagram page with him and Shine. The caption reads, quote, "Words cannot explain how proud I am of Shine. It's truly remarkable to see everything he's gone through and to see him turn his life totally around and get on the path to making a positive impact on his country."
Welcome, Cockney. Good to have you here today. Thank you very much. Welcome, Dane. Good to have you here. Good to see you. Anybody else I'm missing? My apologies. Elizabeth, welcome to you. Good to see you. 12, good to have you here. All of you guys, thank you so much for joining us as we look into this. And I have some documents we're going to cover here in a minute on this.
And his people. His re-election is a major victory for him, hip-hop globally, and the people of Belize. Next stop, Prime Minister's office. "We're not going to stop until my brother is the Prime Minister. I believe in you. I love you. I'm proud of you, Shine." But while appearing cordial on the surface, it wasn't the first time Shine has spoken out on the nightclub shooting. In a 2022 episode of Drink Champs, Shine said at the time he didn't blame Diddy for the conviction as much as he did in the past, and said he even went through a stage of bitterness. He explained at the time, in retrospect, he blamed the conviction more on the lawyers who were advising Diddy. During the trial, Diddy's legal team was composed of high-profile lawyers, including Johnny Cochran, who famously worked on the O.J. Simpson case. Shine added Diddy's lawyers were there to secure a not guilty verdict by any means. During Shine's trial, Diddy's high-profile lawyers did not work on his then protege's case. During that 2022 episode of Drink Champs, Shine said,
Welcome, Miss Kel Sport 20. Good to have you back in the house. Thank you so much for joining us today. Congrats, Cockney Cal 17 became a new meatball. Welcome to the sauce, Cockney. It's wonderful to have you here. Thank you again, all of you, for joining us today as we look into this. Like I said, I got documents coming next we're going to review. And it tells a lot, guys. And it's really disgusting stuff. So be prepared.
Diddy was a $100 million corporation at the time, and his team looked at Shine as the enemy. He explained that both of them were about to lose everything, but added he didn't have as much, and Diddy is a musician with an empire. Shine said, "When your lawyers are misleading and misguiding you, that's how everything fell apart." Shine said Diddy apologized and told him he shouldn't have listened to his lawyers, and Shine forgave him. The 1999 nightclub shooting has renewed interest in the wake of Diddy's legal issues and subsequent sex trafficking arrest. In March, one of the nightclub shooting victims, Natanya Rubin, said in an interview with News Nation it was Diddy who shot her in the face that night. She said she was facing Diddy and his crew when they pulled out their guns and she saw Diddy shoot her in the face. That claim struck a chord with Shine, who previously told reporters just this year, "It opens wounds when you hear the victim saying that it was Diddy that shot her. That was what was most remarkable." Then in an interview 2 months ago, Rubin alleged Diddy placed a bounty on her head after the shooting, which forced her to uproot her life. In an interview published by The Art of Dialogue, the Brooklyn native claimed a confidential informant told the district attorney's office there was a bag on her head, forcing her to leave for her own safety. The 99 shooting was also mentioned in Rodney Jones Jr.'s lawsuit against Diddy. Jones alleged Diddy bragged about using Jennifer Lopez to smuggle the gun into the club and claimed J-Lo passed Diddy the gun after he got into an altercation with Scar. Through attorneys, Diddy has denied Jones's allegations and have not responded to Rubin's claims. It's unlikely their allegations into the 99 shooting will prompt another investigation. But after Diddy's sex trafficking arrest last...
Thank you, Daniela, for joining us. And thank you so much for joining the sauce. We do appreciate you very much, Daniela. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope to see you later on. Thanks so much. And enjoy your time with the kids.
Last week, a federal judge did rule to keep the disgraced mogul in jail until trial, in part due to allegations he has tampered with witnesses in the past. He pleaded not guilty to charges including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. And the hip-hop mogul will remain in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, awaiting trial. This is a great time to bring on a great guest, and that's attorney Offie Patterson. Offie, thank you so much for being here. Now, Diddy's been making...
Congrats, Tomboy, on 12 months, a whole year. You've been here longer than that. Come on now. We know better than that. YouTube is not good at math, and I'm just saying. But congrats again. Happy day anniversary to you, Tomboy. We appreciate you very much.
Headlines once again in the wake of his arrest last week. While a lot of famous faces have been relatively quiet, one person previously signed to Bad Boy Records did come out and kind of speak against his former mentor, and that's Shine. What's your reaction to him saying that Diddy ruined his life?
You know, I think that I saw a few clips of him talking about it, and I just felt like he was able to finally exhale. I think he felt vindicated. And
I don't think it's going to happen this time, Cap, because there's too much out there. Wait till you see these documents, okay? And there's too many people, I think, that are going to fold in on this now. Other people, I think, are going to step forward and say, hey, me too, me too, me too. That's what I think is going to happen, truly. I hope that he doesn't get off on it. I'll say that much, but I think that's what's going to happen.
And I think he just went back to his 21, 22-year-old self and just gave himself a handshake and a hug. And I think he just felt like just saying, finally.
I don't think he'll get off, but he'll probably get a lesser sentence if he starts rolling on people. And I know he will, because that's the kind of person he seems to be. That's my opinion.
He started with, he was a very, very talented teenager. There was a bidding war to acquire his talent, and he ended up choosing Bad Boy. And I think, what he meant by ruin my life was he felt that he ruined his life. He had a promising future. He was a 19-year-old kid when he signed on with Bad Boy. And, he's looking at the course of his life and what happened in the course of about 3 or 4 years. And he feels like, that part of his life, of course, was ruined.
What did you make of Diddy and Shine's relationship prior to the shooting?
I think it was probably a relationship of employer-employee, mentor-mentee. I think for Shine, in addition to those two relationships, he probably looked at him as a big brother, somebody that he could learn from and someone he could grow with. And, I think it was probably definitely for Shine a deep relationship. I think Puffy, we've always seen him as a businessman, and I think his relationship was definitely, business. May have been a little paternal, who knows? But for Puffy, I think it was very much so priority one business.
Absolutely.
And what did you make of their relationship after the trial? Now, Shine was sent to prison. He was sentenced to 10 years. However, Diddy and his bodyguard, Anthony Wolf, were acquitted on all charges. Do you think that the mogul used him as a pawn when it comes to what was going on during the trial and even the aftermath?
In the aftermath, I think we saw there was a little bit of acrimony. There was, of course, Shine was frustrated because he was sentenced to some serious time, and Puffy and his bodyguard, I think Wolf was, they were both acquitted. So of course, there's going to be a little bit of frustration there on one side. Whether he used him as a pawn, I really don't know, but I do know that during the trial, rereading some of the transcripts and some of the coverage at the time, I was wondering why their trials weren't severed. Something that Shine said, which was interesting, was he believed that Puffy's exposure, and by that I mean what he could have been sentenced to if found guilty, his exposure was minimum. He believed that he could have been on papers, which is, probation if you're convicted. Whereas Shine's charges, they were going to always carry prison time. Shine had a juvenile criminal record, and we saw that during the sentencing phase of the trial after he was convicted. They read out his juvenile record. They even read, some lyrics from some of his songs. So, I think that Shine always felt that there was some inequality there. And Shine even talked about the fact that, Puffy put on a witness that basically exonerated Puffy and drove a nail in the coffin in Shine's case. And I think, he felt like he was a little bit of a pawn. And I think, Elizabeth, you and I have talked about this before. Sean was a young person. He didn't have a huge coffer. Who was paying for his criminal defense? I know Shine's defense attorney said that the checks came from him, but who was paying Shine? Who recommended the attorneys? Where did these attorneys' loyalties lie? That's probably what Shine was thinking.
And Shine has long maintained he didn't shoot the victims. I think back during the trial, he said that he just fired the weapon up into the air, but didn't actually shoot any of the victims. And one of the shooting victims, Natanya Rubin, has claimed Diddy was actually the one who shot her. Given the totality of what's happening now, do you think their allegations have more substance, given Diddy has been accused of paying off witnesses and using his money and power to essentially get what he wants?
So I think we've been told that definitely during the trial, one witness made a statement to police officers the night of the shooting, but when he got on the stand during direct, he completely changed his story. He was challenged on cross-examination, and he admitted, "Oh yeah, I did change my story." We've seen recently when Dawn Richard made her. When her filing became public, we found out during Diddy's bail hearing that he called, I think, Kalina, someone that was working with Don, 54 times in one day. And we've heard that he often calls people over and over again. And there's been, witness intimidation recently. So why wouldn't we believe that there's been some sort of witness intimidation? Like that might be his history. That might be his pattern. Excuse me. So it's definitely believable.
And we've spoken also previously about the 99 shooting. And I remember you saying at the time you didn't think an investigation would reopen into the shooting. But given his arrest, do you think it's possible witnesses from either the shooting or the trial who have allegedly been paid off by Combs could come forward? And if so, would that be used against him in the sex trafficking case?
I think that's dead. I think that's done. It's all been put to rest.
Are you surprised that celebrities haven't come forward to denounce Diddy in the wake of his arrest?
No, I said this the other day. A hit dog hollers, be quiet. Like, what do you expect people to say? We talk about, other celebrities and people have come forward. From my recollection, I don't remember people coming forward to necessarily denounce the person who's been accused. I do recall them, or what sticks in my mind is people coming forward to say, shame on them. I too have been victimized by this person, or this is my experience with that person. And I think we've been seeing that in the forms of these lawsuits, and for me as a person who's been following this case, I've definitely seen it in the blogs, and it's been not from necessarily people who have major names, major gravitas, but victims, real people, people who've been close to him, people who've worked for him. They've been ringing the alarm a lot recently, since the Ventura filing in November of last year, but just throughout all this time, they've been ringing the alarm. So I think, and they're just as valid as these huge names that people are looking for. And what's kind of frustrating to me is people are looking for these huge names to denounce Diddy. Why? I think these smaller named people are these ordinary citizens off the street, or these people who've been impacted by him. They're just as valuable, just as worthy.
And are you surprised that, we've spoken a number of times about the Diddy cases and in the lawsuits that he has faced previously, but are you surprised this has actually all culminated in an arrest and that Diddy is actually behind bars now as we speak?
No, I knew it was coming. Probably the first quarter, I knew it was coming. Definitely knew it was coming when his homes were raided.
Okay, so Leslie, Jay-Z's name has been mentioned. Beyonce's has as well. It's been stated that Beyonce and Jay-Z have been living separately for a while because Beyonce knew this was coming. She's smarter than this, I'm hoping. But Jay-Z, I have a feeling it's been stated already before the other day. I think Jay-Z is going to be coming next. I think he's going to be the fallout with this as well as Russell Simmons, who is the previous CEO of Def Jam Records, where Jay-Z stepped up. Okay. I think there's going to be a lot of bigger names that are coming with this as well. Just saying. There's a lot of people that are in hiding right now because this is going down, and I think it's just all the waiting game to see whose name gets dropped and whose doesn't. I think it is probably going to end up being a RICO case at some point because there are so many people involved in it, probably. But I promise you, given the time, Diddy's going to flip on everybody that's involved, that's either higher up than him or that's at his level. And he's one of them type people. If I'm going down, you're all going with me. That's my opinion, but it's coming, Leslie. I don't think it's not. Or Green Eyed said that she thinks that Jay-Z went to the feds and ratted first, which is very possible that's probably how this investigation rolled. Jay-Z is a lot smarter than Diddy is and always has been. That's very possible. He could have got a what do you call that when you get oh my God. Mom, what is that called when you flip on somebody and you don't get charged with something? I lost my whole train of thought.
Shit, I can't remember what it's called.
It's that, yeah.
It's not a proper. That's the discussion.
No, immunity. Thank
It's
you.
not immunity.
So, immunity. Yeah.
Is it immunity?
Yeah, it's immunity. Because if let's say, for instance, that Jay-Z went to the feds and said, "Yo, I know y'all are watching this, and that. I know what a rat. There you go, Cap. I know that you guys know this, that, and everything else, but here's this, here's that, here's this, and here's that. I'll tell you everything if you give me immunity." 100%. That happens all the time. And Jay-Z, like I said, is smart. He's a businessman, complete, total businessman to do what he's doing. That is what a smart person would do if they know that they have some involvement and could go down for this to keep themselves out of that. I can see that happening. And that does make a lot of sense, Green Eyed. It really does. And if he didn't, then like I said, it's going to happen very soon here. He'll be next, in my opinion. So snitch, rat, yes, all that stuff. Absolutely. So, but I think if anything, there is immunity in that case. If that were to happen that way, yes. Well, that's true too, Alicia. A smart person wouldn't do it in the first place. But once again, abuse of power, money buys it all, in my opinion. So
because how it works on the federal level, it's not, there's a difference with the state and the federal level when you want to get a search warrant. Usually on the state level, it's enough if you have a detective signing off, on a sworn affidavit, going to a judge saying, "Hey, I need this information." But on the federal level, a federal judge, he wants something from an assistant U.S. attorney. So once you have, once you're in the crosshairs of an assistant U.S. attorney, they're not going to stop. It's so I just knew this arrest was coming. I am surprised that the charges basically mirror Cassie's lawsuit. I definitely thought there would be much more. I thought there would be definitely more financial crimes. I thought that it would just be a little bit more expansive. So I do think that it's pretty narrow and interesting, even though they say the investigation is ongoing. I thought it would be a lot more.
And do you expect that someone like Shine, who was even previously just signed to Bad Boy Records, that he could testify in the sex trafficking case? Do you think that's at all a possibility?
I don't know because it was so long ago. And I think that they gave the AUSA gave the scope of time that they're looking at, and his affiliation with him, his intimate knowledge of him and his whereabouts, his comings and goings and his practices, that was kind of severed, between 99 and 2002. So I'm going to say it's highly unlikely. And I don't think he needs to be involved in it. I think again, him, what he said, he was satisfactory for him. I think he felt vindicated, and I think that it's just given his young self so much peace.
Alrighty. Well, Afi Patterson, I really appreciate your time today. Before we sign you off, anything else about this case that you would like to add?
No, it's just something I'm definitely going to follow and see through. So, and that's it. Thank you for having me. I always love it being here.
All right. Well, Afi Patterson, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Sean Diddy Combs is expected to appear again in federal court on October 9th. Reporting for Law and Crime, I'm Elizabeth Milner.
Jennifer Lopez, J-Lo. Her name has been coming up a lot right now that Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested. But will Combs' ex-girlfriend play a role in his criminal case? We're going to revisit their history, the connections, and more with former prosecutor Ava Sullivan. Welcome to Sidebar.
We're going to get back to this. Welcome, Mystery. Good to see you. I'm going to pull up these documents real quick, you guys. Hold on a minute. Say hello to my friend Tony back here. Boney Tony. If you can see him. So this was a sealed indictment, of course. For those of you that don't know it. Yes, I'm glad you made it safely too. Mom, are you okay? Are you still here, Mom? Yeah, you are. Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Weather-wise, are you okay out there with this hurricane stuff going on?
Yeah, it's hitting the western side, so we might get bans from it, but I'm in Central Florida on the Atlantic side.
Okay.
So it might flood, but we shouldn't get like no craziness. I mean, maybe some winds or something. I had to go retarp the car, but other than that, 'cause my windshield decided to start leaking out of nowhere.
Oh,
No
good.
pun intended, but when it rains, it pours.
We were
But
talking
no,
about this morning. And Mikey, yeah, Mikey. I got to talk to Mikey. I haven't seen him in a minute. I started a new thing this morning. I knew you were working, but it's a morning show, and it's called Copy and Current Events with Dago in the Morning. And I ran the first episode today, and it's a morning thing. So we started current events. It was a little longer than I expected, and it stretched it out because of a specific case we looked at immediately. And it's going to be multiple different things, what's going on in the world currently, not just crime, but there's a gentleman out of Missouri that is being, well, probably already has been put to death at this point. I don't know. What time is it in Missouri, Doodle? He was slated to be put to death at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's 5:44 there, so he's got about 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Is that the guy that's trending that supposedly, allegedly didn't commit the crime that they're putting him to death for?
Yes. Yeah, I covered that this morning. I didn't know anything about it until this morning. His name is Marcellus Williams. So 15 minutes.
I saw it on Twitter, but I don't remember the case. Like, what are they basing the fact on that he didn't commit the crime?
Well, it's very visual that he could have committed the crime. Okay. I'm just saying that because he committed multiple robberies. Just take a break from this real quick, guys, to explain this to a few of you that weren't there this morning and Mom. First, his name's Marcellus Williams. This is out of Missouri. And 1999 or 98, there were a series of robberies that were committed. He was found guilty of that. A woman by the name of Felicia, she was a reporter, okay, was found stabbed to death 43 times. And this was one of the homes he supposedly robbed. They found some of her belongings in his vehicle, but there was no physical evidence proving that he did it. There was the DNA on the scene didn't match anything of his. The DNA that was on the murder weapon was tainted because the prosecution handled the knife without gloves on 5 different times. So it totally destroys the case. You know what I mean? And that's why they're saying that they believe he might be innocent, because there was no physical evidence. But
how did her belongings get in his car?
that's why I said in some senses it does look like it could be that he was responsible for it, but we don't know for a fact. He should have never been put on death row. If there's even a shadow of a hint of a chance that he could have been not guilty of this. Do you know what I'm saying? And there's questions. There's a petition that was signed by 1 million plus people, including family members of the victim, including multiple other people. Welcome back, Paula. That to keep him from being put to death. The victim's family have physically spoken out and asked for him not to be put to death because they don't believe. And the prosecutor stepped up and said that this shouldn't happen either because there's a question. And I agree with the fact if you have even a slight instance of a feeling that he could possibly be innocent, then he should have never been put on death row, in my opinion. They could have kept him in for life, whatever. But he was eligible for a specific type of a plea, and they won't even let him have that. The governor is standing strong and will not give in to any of this. It's very sad. The Supreme Court and everything. So all I can think of, at least to investigate it to its fullest. It's been 26 years, though. They haven't done anything. How his stuff got in the car, nobody knows.
What part of Missouri?
Where's it at, Doodle? Scottus declined. Oh, okay. Green Eye just threw that up there. Scottus declines to pause a man's execution that prosecutors tried to stop 22 minutes ago. So it's still not happening. It's not happening. Yeah, Governor Parsons is a very bad, very bad. Right outside of St. Louis. He's at Bon Tier prison. I even tried to call the governor's office this morning, but it takes you into this whole voicemail thing that they'll never get back to anybody. So
yeah,
and they're not going to respond to me after I'm sure millions of people have said something. So it is what it is. And at the time, his girlfriend lied after he was locked up to try to get a $10,000 reward about seeing a laptop and purse in the car, and it was proven to be a lie. That's why she didn't get the reward. Thank you, Murky. And then there was other criminals that were already doing time that they used testimony from that all they were trying to do was get shorter sentences. So
is that Doodle? Do you know if the advocacy group is there?
Midwest
that stands outside.
I'm sure they are. Doodle has a video for me. She went by there earlier. The Alfred plea. Thank you, JC.
There's an advocacy group that I might have their name because I was messaging them when they were gassing that guy. Right.
Doodle said that she went by there to give me a video to show you guys of the area, and it was packed. There was cops everywhere. So there's groups out there protesting, I'm sure. And I know Midwest Innocence Project was involved, and they're just not getting, nobody's halting on this. It's really sad because I pray, all I'm worried about is that within a month or a day or a week or a year that they find some way to prove something and the man's already gone. You can't reverse that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. That's the problem with this. They're not. Yeah. They don't seem to care. It's sad. A lot of people believe in his innocence. Even if he did do this, okay, let's say he did do this. I think he should have had a fair trial. You're supposed to have trial by jury, and it's supposed to include a jury of your peers. They pulled a juror, the only juror that was a black male, because he was a black male. The rest of the jury was all Caucasian members. In my opinion, that's not a jury of your peers if you're a black man. Sorry. I'm not saying there's a racial aspect to this, but I'm just saying look at it for what it is. Do you know what I mean? So I don't understand. And I had to say this after fact because I don't really get into conspiracy theories a whole lot, but I had to wonder why they're forcing this so hard with him, even with all these things, with no physical evidence that he committed the crimes, all this other stuff going down. What was this report? She was a reporter. And what was she covering at that time? What story was she covering? And again, I'm not trying to go down a rabbit hole, folks. All I'm saying is they're pretty dead set on this. And when this governor became governor, they had an inquiry that was set up by the previous governor to look into this, right? The moment that he took office, he shut that down and locked it out and said, it's time to move forward with this. Wow. Just saying. Because he had, the juror that they removed was a younger black man that had glasses. They said because he had glasses, they claimed he wasn't able to see correctly to judge the trial. You're kidding, right? I mean, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. There's probably going to be a riot, Shelby. I'll agree with that. There's going to be some shit that goes down when this happens, you guys. And we have 10 minutes, literally. If there's no reprieve, something's going to happen with this. I'm telling you, there's too many people that are standing because of this and saying, hey, you need to look at this. They messed with the jury. The prosecution messed with the evidence. Not on purpose. I don't know if it was on purpose, but it just didn't go down the right way. Now, I will say this, okay? After we looked into it a little bit, the guy has a pretty lengthy criminal history. And that could be why it's hard. They're looking at this roughly like this, but I have this gut feeling that something's not right with this. I'm not always right, but I just do. Doodle said they have all employees there and are ready as of 5 p.m. They're ready to go. Like I said, she went down past the prison to film it for me so that we can show you guys here what it looked like at that time. So it's a situation I'm uncomfortable with because I don't know. There was no violent crimes. It was robberies and stuff like that. I think he did have a couple assaults, but like no murders or nothing like that. So I don't know. I'm just uncomfortable with the decision and the fact that they're going ahead with this. It really bugs me. In fact, let me check something before we do this here. These documents. Give me a second, you guys. Are you still there, Mom?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay, I didn't know you hadn't said anything. I didn't know if you heard me.
No, I was just looking at this article, the CNN. I mean, I don't put much into them anyway, but I just wanted to kind of know what we were talking about. So it looks like everybody's went to bat for this guy except the governor.
Exactly. Including the prosecutors. You know what I mean? They're saying, "Hey, come on, give this guy clemency. Let us see what we can do with this. We need to look into this a little bit deeper, so on and so forth." You're fine, Richard. He's white. He's white. Mike Parsons is white. Let me see here. Yeah, I talked about that today, Richard, but yeah, we can try. Hold on a minute here. I don't see it here. Okay. Yeah, I don't see that. We got Doodle, what news station would that be for that area? I don't mean to get off topic, guys, but this is a pretty serious scenario. There's more than one mystery. There's somebody in Oklahoma, South Carolina. There's a few of them. KMOV. Okay, hold on a minute. One second. We don't have anything live as of now.
They're there. The group that I was talking about, they're there. I just found a picture of them standing on the side of the road.
Yeah, I figured they would be. Most groups that are in support of that. Welcome, Ange. Good to see you. Let me see if I got something here, you guys.
I couldn't think of their name. I've only had dealings with them once.
Gotcha. Hold on here. Let me show you guys something with this real quick. Hold on. So Doodle went down that way earlier today, or just a little while ago, so that we could see the place itself. And she couldn't obviously get very close because of what's going on. Thank you, Green Eyed. This is where he's at, where this is going to take place. This is just a small, quick video that she did to show where it's at, what the scenario is going on there. And, you know, obviously she couldn't get real close because of what's going on.
Thank you, Doodle, for doing that.
Yeah, I really, because she was really kind of close. So thank you very much, Doodle. We appreciate you. I'm kind of sick to my stomach over this, only because I'm not against the death penalty in circumstances. Okay. What I'm against is not being 1,000% positive that this is the man that did this and taking his life. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of sick over, because if it
wrongful conviction does happen
a lot, and it makes you wonder, you know, even in Missouri, for this is where this is, how many times has this happened already? We don't know. Missouri's a bit of a kind of a sideways state. I'll say that much. There's been a lot of crazy stuff, you know, for a fact. You know, the Timmy D's, Durante, this stuff we're going to be talking about here relatively soon. There's a lot that's happened here, and now we have this happening, and it's still, again, we don't know. You know, they could have given him. Why do I keep forgetting how to say this? The plea. Well, I don't know why it's so hard to remember this. Probably because of my damn ADHD. But they could have given him that plea. It was accepted. It was okayed. They wouldn't give it to him. The governor won't allow for this. That way they could, the Alfred plea, I'm sorry. That way they could look into this a little bit more. When you have a prosecutor alone, a prosecutor saying, hey, don't do this. When the family of the victim is saying, hey, don't do this. When 1 million plus people sign a petition that are saying, hey, don't do this, there's a reason why that's happening. Something's not right. And I couldn't be that person. I couldn't understand how people can be that person knowing what you just did is not a sure thing. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't accept it. I'm sorry. 1 minute. All I can do is cross my fingers and pray to God that Governor Parsons calls and says, stop. I don't think it's going to happen, though. I don't think it's going to happen, because I think it would have by now if it was. Right, Cap. Welcome, Elizabeth. Welcome to the sauce, or welcome back. Thank you so much for that. We appreciate you, and it's wonderful to have you as part of this community, dear. I don't see any news streams that have anything live on this right now. I was looking and I can't find them. Absolutely, Doodle. If he did, they will stop in time. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. Mystery, I really don't. Yeah, after he's gone, they'll put it out 100%, but that'll be too late. Congrats, Victorious member for 7 months. We appreciate you so very much, and wonderful to have you in this community, Victoria. You and Angel both. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find anything live on it as of right now. The only thing I can say at this point, you guys, is I know he's a convicted murderer. But nobody, we don't know. We just don't know. And what may have just happened could have been a mistake, in my opinion. Hey, Teresa. All I can tell everybody here at this point, unless we hear something different here soon, just say a prayer, everyone, for the situation and for his soul to be accepted, considering what he's accused of doing and what he was just what he was convicted of doing and what he just paid the price for. That's all I can say at this point. It's very sad. Yes, he just got executed, Teresa. It was supposed to be at 6 o'clock. They're pretty on point with that stuff. Unless somebody called in and stopped it, it's over at this point. I would say at 7:02. And I'm sure we'll hear about it here soon. So, oof, my stomach. Let's get off that subject here for a minute, unless we hear something. I want to show this stuff to you guys here with this. Exactly, mystery. It's the only thing we can do at this point. And if they didn't stop it, then prayers for him as he moves forward in his passing. That's all I can say. So this was a sealed indictment, as we all can see. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that, Cap. Yeah, prayers for both sides of the family. I agree with that too. Let me see something here. Yeah, I saw that already. The Supreme Court, they did get back to them and they allow Missouri to proceed with the execution of death row inmate Marcellus Williams. Thank you, Leslie. I had saw that somewhere else too. That's why I didn't say anything else about that at that point. What's up, Peaky? Welcome. All right, so, oof, God, it's a sad feeling. It really is. The first charge, or count one, like it says on here, was racketeering or conspiracy. I could not possibly read all of this. There's so much of it. So this shows. This here says, for decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Diddy, aka Love. I didn't know he ever carried that name, but that's crazy. The defendant abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees' resources and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, Bad Boy Records. Creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Hold on 1 second, everybody. Sean Combs, the defendant, operated his business headquartered at various times in Manhattan, Los Angeles, under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, collectively the Combs Business. Congrats, Elizabeth Lander. Wait, that's weird. On your Dagoversary for 3 months, but how is it then up here that? Oh, it must have just carried it in and you renewed it. Okay, I got you. That makes sense then. Either way, congrats, Elizabeth. Happy Dagoversary. Okay, so at all times relevant to this indictment, Sean Combs engaged in a persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. This abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. As part of his pattern of abuse, Combs manipulated women to participate in highly orchestrated or performances of sexual activity with male commercial sex workers. At times, Combs and others acting at his direction made arrangements for women and commercial sex workers to fly to Combs's locations. Let me see something, guys. This one about the inmate was new. He even changed his plea. They changed it to life in government wouldn't stop it. You know, I know. It's a sad thing, Leslie. Very sad thing. So where were we at? Obtaining and distributing narcotics to them, controlling their careers, leveraging his financial support, and threatening to cut off the same, and using intimidation and violence. Physical abuse by Combs was recurrent and widely known on numerous occasions from at least in or about 2009 and continuing for years. Combs assaulted women by, among other things, striking, punching, dragging, throwing objects at, and kicking them. These assaults were at times witnessed by others and included one instance at Los Angeles Hotel in about March 2016, which was captured on video and later publicly reported, where Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a woman as she was attempting to leave. When a member of hotel security staff intervened, Combs attempted to bribe the staff member to ensure silence. That's what I'm saying. Anybody that has money will prey on people that don't have money and use it as leverage for anything they want. And it most of the time it works because people are so eager to be able to survive in life that don't have that kind of money and want to do well. It brings it out. Just saying. Hey, Stevie, good to see you, bud. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment, Sean Combs and others known and unknown were members and associates of criminal organization, the Combs Enterprise, or the Enterprise. Members and associates of the Combs Enterprise engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other activities, sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, coercion, and enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Thank you, SRB. The Combs Enterprise, including its leadership, its members, and its associates, constituted an enterprise as defined by Title 18, United States Code, 1961, blah, 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 blah. Entities with Combs business, including but not limited to Bad Boy Entertainment, blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to get to the meat and potatoes of this. Continued unit. Okay. Purposes of the business that he ran actually was operating a global business in the media, entertainment, and lifestyle industries, including, among other things, record labels, recording studio, and apparel line, and alcoholic spirits business, marketing agency, and a television network and media company. Those were the things that were supposed to be rolling out of the business that he was running. Preserving, protecting, promoting, enhancing the power of the Combs Enterprise. Right. So there's all of that is supposed to be coming out of this business. Combs and other members and associates of the enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role as the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit. Hold on. often under pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak offs. Freak offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, masturbated during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers. Why do I keep losing my place? I need my glasses to give it. 1 second here. After freak offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Members and associates of the Combs enterprise, including high-ranking supervisors, security staff, household staff, personal assistants, and other Combs business employees, facilitated the freak-offs by, among other things, booking hotel rooms for the freak-offs, stocking the hotel rooms in advance with required supplies, including controlled substances, baby oil, lubricant, blah, blah, blah. Cleaning the hotel rooms after the freak-offs, trying to mitigate room damage, arranged for travel or for victims, commercial sex. Okay. Oh, commercial sex workers and Combs to and from freak offs, resupplying Combs with requested supplies, delivering large sums of cash to Combs to pay the commercial sex workers, and schedule the delivery of IV fluids. So this is basically like a prostitution ring and or sex trafficking ring. And I believe, based on the fact that it was done with coercion, threats, things like that, that's obviously where it's criminal at, you guys. It's a trafficking scenario as well. So let's see here. This went on via Florida, Los Angeles, New York, multiple places. The baby oil thing is such a weird thing that they centered on, but okay. Members and associates of the enterprise, including Combs security personnel, at times carried firearms. On more than one occasion, Combs himself carried brandished firearms to intimidate and threaten others, including victims of and witnesses to his abuse. In or about March of 2024, during searches of Combs' residences in Florida and Los Angeles, law enforcement seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 AR-15s with defaced serial numbers, as well as drum magazines. Let's see here. I'm trying to see if they're going to show anything else in here that we haven't already talked about or heard 300 times. Multiple acts involved kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions of state law. Multiple acts involving arson. So there were multiple things that were, welcome back, Contessa, good to have you back, that were burnt down, not just one scenario. So the arson scenario, multiple acts involving bribery, chargeable. Okay, we know that. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18, relating to tampering with witnesses, victims, or an informant. Well, what that means is that this man has threatened people that could have been possible witnesses or informants, that if you talk, you're going to either lose whatever financial stability you have, or worse, guys. I do believe that that he's responsible probably for some death, okay, that has happened. In turn, I'm going to imagine that some of those threats probably were based on that kind of thing too. Absolutely, Contessa. So, let me see here. Multiple offenses involving the possession with intent to distribute or distribution of narcotics and controlled substances, including cocaine, Vicodin, Ativan, methamphetamine, multiple versions of methamphetamine, gamma hydroxybutyric. I have no idea what that is. Ketamine. These are all dangerous drugs, folks. Dangerous drugs. and they were possessed with intent to distribute in some senses as well. So there's that too. And these things are definitely strong drugs. So he better, obviously, I think they carry federal charges. So special sentencing factor. That's not going to matter. We already know that already. The grand jury further charges from at least in or about 2009 up to and including 2018 in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy. We know his name. Knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means a person knowing and in reckless disregard of the fact that means of force, threats of force, fraud, and coercion as described in Title 18. State Code Section 159. Okay. That's just through count 2. The grand jury further charges, this is count 3, transportation to engage in prostitution. So I'm not going to read through all that. We know what that means. Let me see down here. Substitute assets provision. If any of the above described forfeitable property as a result of any act or omission of the defendant cannot be located upon exercise of due diligence, as transferred or sold, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction, has been subsequently diminished for value, or has been commingled with other property which cannot be subdivided without difficulty. Well, those are all there too. That's not, it doesn't show who signed that. So these are documents, guys, that shows all of what he's been charged with, the seriousness of it, how serious it is, and it's real. And like the title says of the show today, how bad is this really, guys? How many people are involved? Like I said, we'd be here all day if I read through. But you guys pretty much get the gist of the documents. I just wanted to show the documents. Enjoy your dinner, Tomboy. Ecstasy, meth, and most of the others are likely going to be medicinal in our lifetime. So be it. But right now they're illegal, so that's why he's being charged like he is. So you know what I mean? Let me see. Did I have that up on the screen, Mom? I don't think I did.
Yeah, the document.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was, but okay. Sorry about that. Anyway.
Yeah, it just came down.
Gotcha. Now let me check something else here. Hold on. Now, we have other people involved in the criminal side as well as the victim side. We've all heard this already, that Justin Bieber is a victim of a lot of this circumstance, guys, and it's very sad. There's a couple different things I'm going to show you that go along with this, too. This is a 15-year-old kid that wanted to be a star, that was very talented, that could sing. This monster in the hat, took advantage of that and his age, and God knows what all actually went down and that Justin had to deal with, and is now going to be humiliated out into the whole world now that he engaged with this kind of stuff. So
Man, you good?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything? Starting to act different, huh?
No,
you ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
It's 555.
that just showed a bit of an interaction between the two of them. I think that was set up for the people to film it that way. But hold on a minute. I wanted to show this interaction between these two and his age. okay, for you guys to be able to see. So let's check this out here. The parents have a lot of explaining to do in this. Any parent that allows for this kind of stuff, that's not fully involved when their child is in, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's God. Well, God's different, but the president of the United States, P. Diddy, I don't care who it is. You don't leave your child alone with people, whether they have money or they don't. But that's what happened, guys. I said this earlier. Some of these parents were handed a check and said, let me take your child and do what I will. And parents have done it. You can hand me $1 million check. I promise you, my child's not going anywhere with you that I'm not going. I don't know you like that. That's how I feel. I'm sorry. That's just fact. So that's how this should have been, but it wasn't. It wasn't. And it makes no sense to me. It's crazy.
As soon as you turn 16, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come in LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come in LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, go get the front shot of this.
Man.
Get that out. Minute.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come down there, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right, 16.
You're not ready. Let's slow down. Let's slow down, Justin.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. His parents signed a legal temporary custody. What? Why would you do something like that? Why? I just don't understand. Like, I couldn't comfortably. I mean, think about it, Mom. Somebody walks up and hands you a $100,000 check and says, I'm going to take your child for 2 days. We're going to do whatever. Are you going to do something? Are you comfortable with that?
No, they're probably going to need to get somebody to call the coroner because they're going to need the coroner to leave my driveway. That's
what I'm saying.
Just putting it out
exactly
there.
What I mean. Yes.
And not my forte of music, but I have a question. So this was Justin Bieber and his buddy or his boy or his friend. So do we know the friend, or is that something that's not been made public? Was the friend the same age as him? Did the friend's parents know that they were with P. Diddy? Did the friend get signed over to Usher too? And why the hell are parents signing their kids over to musicians? And who the hell's the judge that signed off on this?
That's what I mean. It's all been paid for, in my opinion. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, Disney, Nickelodeon, they're all a bunch of sickos.
Big time. Big time. Big time.
Did you see where Sarah Boone was on Nickelodeon? I'm not even kidding you.
What?
Yeah, and my old man was on Nickelodeon too, and I asked him. I showed him the clip and asked him, did he recognize her? And he said no, he didn't recognize her. That was a long time ago. But how cool would that have been? I'd have drug his hind end on panel.
Sarah Boone was on Nickelodeon?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Beats the hell out of me.
Where did you find that at?
Twitter. Let me see if I can dig it up again.
That is what? Ew.
Just on a wider note than child trafficking and
No, I get it.
Diddy the Diddler. Yeah, like the game show. Nickelodeon.
Oh my god.
Hang on, I might have it bookmarked. If not, I'll find it.
I just found it.
Did you? Okay, good.
Oh, she is far from who she was then. Nick Arcade.
I don't know, but like I asked whoever posted it, was it in Orlando, and they didn't know. But if it was in Orlando, it's a good possibility it was the same show that my old man was on.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. Hang on to your seats, everybody. The Loon, Miss Boone. Mystery said, "Whoa, my guts just rolled." It's the same place. Yes. Yes, that is very true, Green Eye. That is very true about that situation.
On today's show, starting off with the red team, John and Sarah say, hey! Now let's...
There she is.
John, understand you collect baseball cards.
Yes.
Gosh, how many do you have in your collection?
I don't know, about 200.
About 200. And how long did it take you to accumulate a collection that size?
About 3 years.
About 3 years. Wow, that's an awesome collection. Your partner there, Sarah, likes to hang out at the mall. Now, what do you do while you're just hanging at the mall, Sarah?
Well, check out guys and spend money.
Check out.
She goes to the luggage store. Her voice sounds the same. I know she hangs out at the luggage store, that's for sure. Check out guys and spend money. Oh my god.
Not the luggage store.
Cash or like parents' cash?
Mine.
Zebra, zip code, and zipper.
Let's take a look. Well, that's it. Yeah. Name the type of orange that sounds like a belly button. Yes, red team.
Navel orange.
Navel it is. Yeah, there you are. And you are up to 100 points. And
So, how about, can you imagine this John guy now as an adult going, oh my god, I was standing
We
next
should
to this.
find him and interview him.
That would be amazing if we could figure out
Did
who
you
he
get
was.
any creepy vibes? Did you feel any kind of
Did you think you were standing next to a
luggage
killer?
fetishes?
Did she ask you to get into a suitcase at any time during the show, backstage, in the green room, or anything? You know,
Was zipper a trigger word for her?
right. No, you're right though. I mean, come on. It's hard to believe that creature was a child at one time. Swear to God, it was. I'm just saying.
you still have control. The audience likes the navel thing. Andrea, tell them what they just snagged.
Concourse exciting.
Say cheese, red team. That's yours. And you get to move. Oh, hang on. We're not worthy. Yes, we are. And we are back right now for round 2. I have Mark of the yellow team and Sarah of the red team going to play the face-off Crater Ranger. Now, remember, in this game, you have to maneuver your ATV.
This might explain where some of her entitledness came from, because she was on TV and maybe she thinks she is somebody important at this point.
I've been on TV and I ain't going around zipping people up in suitcases.
I mean, I get it. I was on MTV. I was on, what was that show I was on? Lips, when I was running around with the boy band thing. What was that show I was on with MTV?
MTV Cribs?
No. Yeah, because I got a house for cribs. Remember when I was dancing and stuff?
Oh, lip sync.
Lip sync. That was the name of it. Yeah. Anyway, but I don't zip people up in suitcases either. So I agree.
Okay,
I don't know.
Mods, did y'all get that lip sync? Somebody go find the clip.
Nobody can find it, including myself. I looked for it when I first came out here. They've looked. I don't know why, but whatever. It definitely wasn't Pimp My Ride because that show's a joke anyway. Those cars all fall apart when they're done with it. Downtown Julie Brown, the world. I was not on the real world, although I wanted to be. I can't believe I'm watching this. So have I. I did interviews when I was enrolled in Columbia School of Rock. That's awesome, Victoria. Yes, Richard Lip Sync.
Over dangerous alien landscapes. You have to avoid craters and explosions and other pitfalls. The player with the highest score at the end of 30 seconds by traveling the furthest will get 50 points and control of Mikey for round 2. In positions, please. Ready, set, go.
She must have stopped growing because I don't think she's any taller now than she is then.
I don't think so.
And her hair don't look any better now than it did. Well, her hair looks a little better there, but not much. I don't think so. I don't know. Let's see what we got here.
Whoa, yellow team got snagged. Right now, it looks like red team has traveled the furthest so far, but we're only at the 22nd point. Score's pretty tight. They're accumulating points. Good driving going on. Good steering. Good maneuvering. This is going to be a close one. We're down to 10 seconds. Whoa, we just fell out of it there on the yellow team. He's back in, trying to get going. And at the end, it is going to be the red team pulling it off. All right, here I go. Let's play some more arcade. Yeah. All right, Sarah, you steered yourself there to the face-off victory. Well, hang on, let's find out where Mikey's steering this time. Andrea, tell us where he's going in round 2.
In round 2, Phil, Mikey's setting out from the village to the angry volcano Mount Blow a Fuse. But watch your footing because the witch doctor is out in that underbrush somewhere. Explore your way past the goal and you'll get 100 points. Take it, Phil.
Oreos, pop quizzes and prizes. The witch doctor's waiting. Now, all questions in round 2 to the video zone to face today's game. Now, red team, you pulled off the face-off, and you're up to 200 points, and you get to move Mikey first in round 2. What direction?
Left.
Mikey starting off left. The Big Z Video Challenge, yeah. Starting off Video Challenge, round 2. What are we going to do? Play some games. Hey, how you doing, gang? Video Challenge. More points to your score. Control of Mikey. Who's going to be playing?
I am.
You're going to play Sarah? Okay, John, hang on to the board. Sarah, you get to choose from Act Razor, El Viento, Thunder Spirits is out of it. We played it. Toki or Robo Army. Which one of those 4?
Robo Army.
Robo Army. Head down to Robo Army. Come on with us, John.
Yeah,
Robo
she
Army.
still sounds the same to me.
Personally, because in this sci-fi action game, Maxima and Rocky have to restore peace to the planet that the Cyber Army has disrupted. This game has 6 areas. It's incredibly cool. And today, the Experts Challenge is 1,800 points in Area 1, the jungle. How appropriate for the show. You have to meet or beat 1,800 points in 30 seconds. John, right now your team has 200 points. Your opponents have to wager on Sarah. Didn't even sing that time. Hide it, please. Turn around, Sarah. Ready,
Still has the same
set,
smile, too.
Go. Great, that's her Robo Army. She is whacking away at all of the other robots. She can pick up things. She can jump over things. Right now, she's jumping over, battling the robots. For each robot she punches and smashes, she gets 100 points. Right now, she's up to 800 points. A double punch every day. She can pick up arms. She can pick up the Jeep. But right now, she's just punching and kicking her way. Yeah, she's at 1,000 points right now. We're down to about 6 seconds. It's just 1,200 points. Oh, she got knocked down. A couple of more will do it, maybe. Oh, my goodness, not enough time. Listen, you played a great game. Time ticked a little too much. John wagered 50 points. We're going to subtract that to your score. But there's more show to play. Head back over. Yeah. She was fighting her way up. You will get a great prize. For each item you pick up, you will get $50. Here is your challenge. All right, into the zone there with you and extinguish Scorcher's score. You got all of her power back now. Great. Bam, there's 2 rings at 32 seconds.
So why was she doing everything on this? This kid was just kind of standing here. He wasn't doing much of anything. She did everything.
I'm just going to say her controlling personality that we will probably see at trial, but that's, in my opinion, allegedly.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's why I brought it up. But yeah, I'm good watching that now. But that's so weird.
I just thought I would share with y'all. I've been dealing with some pretty heavy subjects.
You have?
Oh, we have tonight.
Oh, yeah,
Marcus,
definitely.
rest in peace, and then the diddler and all that, and human trafficking, because that's what it amounts to. Promises, empty promises, paid for work, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's pretty.
That whole thing just makes me sick, but
it's disgusting.
I mean,
The
internet's what's made it more prominent, though.
Oh, very much so. There's more to come. Hold on a minute. Here we go, guys. I want to make sure everybody's getting the info on this since we did cover it this morning.
Lawyers for Marcellus Williams are now speaking to First Alert 4 nearly a week after a judge ruled against vacating Williams' murder conviction. Williams was sentenced to death for killing a former Post-Dispatch reporter back in 1998. Williams has roughly 6 days left to live before he's executed.
No, this is not what it was supposed to be. This was supposed to be an update to that. Here we go. Sorry, you guys. 16 minutes ago, it says the state of Missouri carried out the execution of Marcellus Williams. According to the Missouri Department of Corrections, Williams' last meal was served at 10:53 a.m. and included chicken wings and tater tots. His last visit was with Imam Jahi Qasim from 11:01 to 12:32 p.m. Williams' last statement was all praise be to Allah in every situation. The Imam was with Williams when he was executed around 6 p.m. We hope this gives finality to a case that has languished for decades, re-victimizing Ms. Gale's family over and over again, said Missouri Governor Mike Parson. This is how he's justifying what he did or not did. No juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claim to be credible. 2 decades of judicial proceedings and more than 15 judicial hearings upheld his guilty conviction. Thus, the order of execution has been carried out. Before Williams was executed, his attorney, Tricia Rojo Bushnell, issued the below statement. Tonight, Missouri will execute an innocent man, Marcellus Khalifa Williams. The victim's family opposes his execution. Jurors who originally sentenced him to death now oppose his execution. The prosecutor's office that convicted and sentenced him to death has now admitted they were wrong and zealously fought to undo the conviction to save Mr. Williams' life. More than 1 million concerned citizens and faith leaders implored Governor Parson to commute Marcellus's death sentence. Missouri will kill him anyway. That is not justice, and we must all question any system that would allow this to occur. The execution of an innocent man is the most extreme manifestation of Missouri's obsession with finality over truth, justice, and humanity at any cost. Khalifa is a kind and thoughtful man who spent his last years supporting those around him in his role as imam. We will remember him for his deeply evocative poetry and his love for and service to his family and community. While he yearned to return home, he is a thoughtful man who has worked hard to move beyond the anger, frustration, and fear of wrongful execution, channeling his energy into his faith and finding meaning and connection through Islam. The world will be a worse place without him. As dark as today is, we owe it to Khalifa to build a brighter future. We are thankful to the St. Louis prosecuting attorney for his commitment to truth and justice and all he did to try to prevent this unspeakable wrong. For the millions of people who signed petitions, made calls, and shared Khalifa's story. Tonight, we all bear witness to Missouri's grotesque exercise of state power. Let it not be in vain. This should never happen, and we must not let it continue. Williams, 55, long maintained his innocence to the death of Alicia Gale in 1998. The former newspaper reporter was stabbed multiple times during a burglary at her University City home. In the hours leading up to the execution, St. Louis Mayor Tishora Jones sent a letter to Governor Parson urging him to halt the death sentence, and Williams' legal team and the NAACP filed an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court for a stay of execution. Mayor Jones' letter in the appeal to the United States Supreme Court came after Governor Parson denied clemency, and the Missouri Supreme Court denied a stay of execution. I'm just not okay with this, you guys. I'm not. Rest in peace, Marcellus. And I pray that I pray that it doesn't come out to be wrong. May God accept you into heaven and bless your soul, my friend. I know that this man was convicted of a horrible murder, but hearing all of that, where they're saying that the family, the prosecuting attorney, the jury all said stop it, and they didn't, I can't. I don't either at this point, Paula. I don't. Knowing the things that we know, there's no DNA, none. This is a rough thing, you guys. Very rough thing. Yes, I know, Walt, you're here. That's a good thing, sir. These are the things about what we do out here that I don't like to deal with, you guys. I'll be honest with you. It bothers me. And like Mom said, this has been a lot of stuff today. So, I don't know. The woman that was murdered's items that were stolen were found in his vehicle. Okay? Now, I understand how that looks. But we have all seen stranger things happen, guys. Okay? I'm not saying that this man was framed. I'm not saying that that's how it happened. I'm not saying he didn't commit the robbery. We don't know that there wasn't somebody else involved. We don't know how this went down. I'm just saying we don't know. I don't know. I don't know. This is a bad feeling. It's just a bad feeling. Zoinks. Absolutely. It is between Marcellus and God now, and I have to say that absolutely. And hopefully it works out in his favor at this point. That's all. His ex-girlfriend knew details that she should not have known, though. And yeah, we do know that too. But they also said that something she stated was proven to be a lie. I don't know how that goes. I don't know. Like I said, unless there was somebody else that knew about it, I don't know, you guys. It strikes me as being off. Here's the thing. Even if the man did it, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It bugs me.
Proof beyond the benefit of doubt does not seem like it was met to me.
No, you should be 150,000% positive that this man is the one that did it. There should be no shadow of any sort of doubt whatsoever before you give somebody the death penalty.
And this happened recent enough that DNA was, that they pretty much knew what the hell they were doing with DNA. So
yeah, and there was nothing. The stuff that was found at the scene did not match him. Okay, this is where I have issues with it. The stuff that was found at the scene, the hair, the this, that, and everything else that was there was not his. I don't know. He was stayed 3 times. That's very true, Green-Eyed. There was something that I don't know. I don't know about that. The initial jury that found him guilty, I don't think they were 100%. I don't think they were. Obviously, or these people wouldn't be stepping out now saying, let's not do this, you know, or it could have just been guilt, the feelings that they got after the fact. You know, I'm not sure. Piglet says Parsons made a live statement as well as others after KMOV reporter was there and covered it, but I can't find the presser. Is there one? Let me see. I don't see anything yet. There was even a congresswoman that was pushing the governor to. Governor Parsons wasn't hearing this at all, you guys. Not at all. Did not want to hear this. I don't know, you guys. Yeah, it is election time. That's true. That's very true. It is an election year. You really think that's the way to do it, though? Oh, shit. Well, this is something new that just popped up. I figured I'd show you guys real quick while we're sitting. I think that's going to do it today for the Diddy stuff because there's a whole lot more of documents I'm going to pull on this and stuff, and we're going to have another episode on it for sure. You've been in here for almost 3.5 hours. I'm waiting to see if there's anything that's going to blow up over this now, Doodle. You're in that area. Like, I'm sure you'll see or hear about any kind of rioting or anything like that. But I don't know, you guys. It's a possibility. And then at the same time, it could stay super quiet. That's what I was saying too, Piglet. Like, if you're robbing somebody, you're robbing them. This 43 stab wounds, that was a personal thing. You know what I mean, Mom? Like, that's, first off, stabbing somebody is personal. Second off, that many times is like, that's anger. Okay, that's not just a simple robbery. That's why I'm confused.
Generally, rule of thumb, and this is rule of thumb, I am not law enforcement nor do I claim to be, but if a knife is used as a weapon, it is a crime of passion. The reason that it's considered that is because you not only are close enough to see the person's eyes, if you're not a coward and do it from behind, you feel the impact. Try to be YouTube friendly. Y'all know what I'm saying. Everybody here's adults.
Yep, you do.
And there's also, you have to take into account that unless you have on like sheepskin leather gloves, there's going to be damage to your hands from using a knife because of slippage. So generally, if you hear of a gas station getting robbed, they're not walking in there with a K-bar
No.
and robbing a gas station. But say a jealous significant other finds adultery, what do you generally hear that's used? A crazy stalker goes after people, what do you generally hear that's used? If you listen to like certain serial killers that's their choice of weapon, like they will explain to you in detail, not YouTube friendly, the reason that is choice weapon to use.
Right. Absolutely. Paula, he was executed already this evening, 6 p.m. Missouri time. So would have been roughly about 51 minutes ago. How do they know that his ex didn't do it? Shoot, she knew the detail. Well, that's what I was thinking, like the ex-girlfriend or somebody else with her. These are good points, we don't know this. I don't know. Oh, it's okay. No problem, Paula. It's just a sad moment because, like I said, I don't think anybody can say they're 100% sure that this man was guilty of this. Nobody involved in this case. Nobody. It's very personal, and there was a lot of rage. 43 stab wounds, guys. Think about this. Idaho, 4. We know that there were multiple stabs in that, which comes out to be a very personal, rage-filled attack. Not just a simple robbery. And I got to go back to this every time. I can't help but say this. This woman that was murdered was a reporter in a fairly important, newspaper for that area. And what was she covering at that time? What stories was she working on at that time? And you got to think about that. Being the way this went down, was she exposing somebody? Was there something she was putting out that was not wanted to be put out about somebody of importance? Possibly anything like that could be something that would make you go, you know what I mean? Right, Victoria. That's what I was referring to exactly. So it made me wonder immediately, what stories was this Felicia? What was she working on at the time of her death? His ex could have done it and put that stuff in his car to frame him if she is the one who knew everything. That's very, very possible. And just because she's a woman doesn't mean she can't do this. Women have been known to do these things too. Women carry rage just as much as men do. I mean, I'm just saying, we will never know at this point, probably, unless somebody steps forward with some kind of crazy information. And then guess what? That makes this all the more worse. If somebody comes forward, or if they prove that there was a situation that didn't exist, or that existed, that proved this was wrong, the man's gone now. You can't return. You can't fix this, guys. It can't happen. Very solemn. So the family of Felicia has closure to an extent, but they didn't want this to happen either. That to me says a lot. Okay, that says a whole lot. The fact that we heard that, this is gonna drive me nuts all night. The fact that we heard that, the prosecution at the point said no, we need to they tried to overturn this. The prosecution tried to overturn this. How often do we hear that happening? Anybody? Mom? How many times have you heard of the prosecution going to battle for the person that they prosecuted?
Not off the top of my head. I can't come up with one.
Never heard of that before.
They said that it was a violation of his rights.
Something like that, yeah.
That's what I read in an article.
Right.
They were
fighting to overturn it. Yes. And it seems like that the governor, once this was put into effect, wasn't having nothing. Didn't hear. It almost tells me that even if they would have been showed proof that he was innocent, that the governor was going to go ahead anyway. I know that sounds ridiculous, you guys, but that's what this feels like at this point. Do you know what I mean? that there was nothing you were going to tell Governor Parsons that was going to stop this.
I can tell you right now, just from being on that side of the railroad tracks, you know, this ain't far from St. Louis, I'm assuming.
No, it's very close.
So I'll put it this way. If the people and the communities are not happy about this man being put to death, and from what I've looked for, because I was looking for that presser, but I couldn't find it.
I can't find it either.
They may damn well have riots on their hands that they don't want to deal with.
Oh, that's another thing I'm kind of worried about too. I agree with you.
Because there are parts of St. Louis where the law won't even go. What the hell do they think is going to happen if they piss off the whole community?
Agreed.
East St. Louis, like really, honestly, the only safe part of St. Louis that I can sit here and think about off the top of my head is the zoo. And that's legit. And it's free to get into the zoo. So again, you have to have your head on a swivel.
Sure.
And there's an area that they call the States, which is where all the roads are named after states. And again, like, just from being from that area up there. And as a child, Six Flags, St. Louis Zoo, you know, when my kids were little, that's where we went, was St. Louis, you know, Cape Girardeau, you know, Doodle can back me up. Like, these are cities where if they have a riot on their hand, it may take them a couple of months to get it under control.
I agree.
Because like Carbondale, that's a not Carbondale.
Well, they're saying SRB
Cape Girardeau.
SRB and Doodle are saying East St. Louis is horrible. If that's probably what you're talking about. So
yeah, like it's on the. I haven't been up there in years, but there's a spot that's on the other side of the river, and if you're sitting at it, it's a towboat dock. It's a dry dock for towboats.
Right.
And I was sitting up there one night waiting on a friend of mine to dock because I'd brought a bunch of stuff up there for the towboaters. And he was like, you know, where are you at? And I told him where I was at. And he was like, oh my God, get in a parking lot where there's some lights and lock the damn doors. And which I was armed to the teeth. I wasn't worried, or I wouldn't have been in St. Louis by myself to start with. But no, it's not a good place to be. Like, if something breaks out. So, Doodle, you better stay safe, man. Seriously. Y'all worried about a hurricane. I'd be worried about the people of Missouri losing their whole ass shit and burning the city down.
Exactly. Thank you, Leslie. This reads just like the same thing I just read. It's the same type stuff. Wait a minute here. A Missouri man was executed Tuesday for breaking into a woman's home and killing her despite calls by her family and the prosecutor's office that put him to death row to let him serve out the rest of his life in prison. Marcellus Williams, 55, was convicted in 98, killing Leisha Gale, who was repeatedly stabbed during the burglary of her suburban St. Louis home. Williams' hopes of having his sentence commuted to life in prison suffered dual setbacks Monday, when almost simultaneously Republican Governor Mike Person denied him clemency and the Missouri Supreme Court declined to grant him a stay of execution. Wait, where'd it go? The U.S. Supreme Court declined to intervene Tuesday. That was what they were waiting on today. Williams was put to death despite questions his attorneys raised over jury selection at his trial and the handling of evidence in the case. His clemency petition focused heavily on how Gale's relatives wanted Williams' sentence commuted to life without the possibility of parole. The family defines closure as Marcellus being allowed to live. The petition stated Marcellus's execution is not necessary. Last month, Gail's relatives gave their blessings to an agreement between the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office and Williams' attorneys to commute the sentence to life in prison. But acting on an appeal from Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey's office, the state Supreme Court nullified the agreement. See, how can that's bullshit to me. Williams was among death row inmates in 5 states who were scheduled to be put to death in the span of a week. An unusually high number that defies years-long decline in the use and support of the death penalty in the U.S. The first was carried out Friday in South Carolina. Texas was also slated to execute a prisoner on Tuesday evening. Gail, 42, was a social worker and former St. Louis Post-Dispatch reporter. Prosecutors at Williams' trial said he broke into her home. Oh, wait, she was a social worker, too. Okay. On August 11th of 1998, heard the shower running and found a large butcher knife. Gail was stabbed 43 times when she came downstairs. Her purse and her husband's laptop were stolen. Authorities said that Williams stole a jacket to conceal blood on his shirt. His girlfriend asked him why he would wear a jacket on a hot day. She said she later saw the purse and laptop in his car and that Williams sold the computer a day or two later. Prosecutors also cited testimony from Henry Cole, who shared a cell with Williams in 1999 while Williams was jailed on unrelated charges. Cole told prosecutors that Williams confessed the killing and provided details about it. Williams' attorney responded that the girlfriend and Cole were both convicted of felonies and wanted a $10,000 reward. They said that fingerprints, a bloody shoe print, hair, and other evidence at the crime scene did not match Williams. Jesus. Crime scene investigator had testified the killer wore gloves. Tuesday marked the 3rd time Williams had faced execution. He was less than a week away from lethal injection in January of 2015 when the state Supreme Court called it off, allowing time for his attorneys to pursue additional DNA testing. See, if they did it then, I don't understand why they couldn't do it this time, but okay. Questions about DNA evidence also led St. Louis prosecuting attorney Wesley Bell to request a hearing challenging Williams' guilt. But days before the August 24th hearing, new testing showed that DNA on the knife belonged to members of the prosecutor's office who handled it without gloves after the original crime lab tests. Without DNA evidence pointing to any alternative suspect, Midwest Innocence Project attorneys reached a compromise with the prosecutor's office. Williams would enter a new no-contest plea to first-degree murder in exchange for a new sentence of life in prison without parole. A no-contest plea isn't an admission of guilt, but is treated as such for purpose of sentencing. Judge Bruce Hilton signed off, as did Gail's family, but Bailey appealed, and the state Supreme Court blocked the agreement and ordered Hilton to proceed with an evidentiary hearing, which took place last month. Hilton ruled September 12th that the first-degree murder conviction and death sentence would stand, noting that Williams's arguments all had been previously rejected. That decision was upheld Monday by the state Supreme Court. Attorneys for Williams, who was black, also challenged the fairness of his trial, particularly the fact that only one of the 12 jurors was black. Tricia Bushnell of the Midwest Innocence Project said the prosecutor in the case, Keith Larner, removed 6 of 7 black. 6 of 7 black prospective jurors. Larner testified at the August hearing that he struck one potential black juror partly because he looked too much like Williams. What? You've got to be kidding me. So they struck a jury member because he looked like Williams? I seen that. Thanks, SRB. I'm going to pull it up here next. A statement that Williams' attorney asserted showed improper racial bias. It absolutely does. Absolutely does. Larner contended that the jury selection process was fair. Bullshit. Williams is the third Missouri inmate put to death this year and the 100th since the state resumed the use of the death penalty in 89. Oh, wow. How do you get away with that? Because this man looked like the what? That is insane. That is insane. I'm sorry, but it is.
Corruption runs deep.
Well, this is Missouri, mind you, too. We already know Missouri has some issues. Okay. Quite a few of them, actually. That is definitely not a reason to remove a juror. Sorry. And you took 6 out of 7 black people out, which are his peers. Come on. That man did not have a fair trial, in my opinion.
Department of Corrections. In a few minutes, I'll brief you on the events of the last couple of hours, but first, Missouri Department of Corrections Director Trevor Foley will read a brief statement from Governor Mike Parson. Director Foley.
Marcellus Williams was executed for the 1998 murder of Felicia Gale on Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, at Eastern Reception and Diagnostic Correctional Center in Bonne Terre, Missouri. We hope this gives finality to a case that has languished for decades, re-victimizing Miss Gale's family over and over again. No juror nor judge has ever found Williams' innocence claim to be credible. 2 decades of judicial proceedings and more than 15 judicial hearings upheld his guilty conviction. Thus, the order of execution has been carried out.
So the governor's statement has been provided to all of you, and there's also a statement that was issued yesterday in the form of a press release, which you should have. We don't have a statement from the victim's family, and we do have a statement from Marcellus Williams himself, which I believe I've sent to all of you. Let me know if you don't have it, and I'll make sure to give that to you. So I'll now read a brief chronology. At 4:50 p.m., the Department of Corrections received word that all petitions had been denied by the U.S. Supreme Court and that the department could begin with the execution sequence. At 5:40 p.m., the witnesses were moved into the viewing area. At 6 p.m., Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey notified the Department of Corrections that there were no legal impediments to the lawful execution of Marcellus Williams. At 6 p.m., Governor Mike Parsons' office was asked whether there is any reason that the lawful execution of Marcellus Williams for the murder of Felicia Gale should not proceed. The answer was to proceed. At 6:01 p.m., the order was given to proceed with the lawful execution. At 6:01 p.m., the lethal injection of pentobarbital was administered. At 6:03 p.m., the 5-minute timer was set. At 6:10 p.m., Marcellus Williams was pronounced dead. There's an area here on the grounds of Eastern Reception Diagnostic and Correctional Center for demonstrators. Today, there were 94 demonstrators opposed to capital punishment and this execution. Marcellus Williams was 55 years old. He was born December 30th, 1968 in Logansport, Indiana. Williams was 29 years old at the time of the 1998 murder of Felicia Gale in St. Louis County. He was received in the Department of Corrections on January 31st, 2000. And a few of the last things that happened today, his final visit with his imam, Jalahi Qasim. It took place from 11:01 a.m. to 12:32 p.m. His final meal was served at 10:53 p.m. It consisted of chicken wings and tater tots. There were 9 witnesses for the offender in attendance, including 3 members of the media. There were no witnesses here for the victims. And there were 3 witnesses for the offender in attendance. So I'll take a few questions if you have them.
For Marcellus were son and 2 attorneys?
Yes.
Can you share their names?
I don't have them with me, but I can give that to you later.
What happens to body? Is it going to be cremated?
His body is going to be picked up by the Islamic Center of Greater St. Louis, and his attorney will be picking up his property.
Welcome, Miss Kimber. Good to see you tonight, dear. Why is she making all these weird ass faces?
When did Williams get transferred from OC here? Yesterday around 9 a.m. on Monday.
Was there anyone with him during the execution?
Yes, his spiritual advisor was with him.
You said no witnesses for the victim were present and that the family did not provide any statement to
Correct.
be read. So it was a total of 15 witnesses then? 9 for 3 media, 3 for Mr. Williams?
The 3 for the media were included in the 9 for the state.
Okay.
So 9 for the state and 3 for Marcellus Williams.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. If you need anything else, let me know. You have my email and phone number, and I can get you whatever information you need. So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Right. Get up here.
So I'm David Lieb with the Associated Press, correspondent in Jefferson City. So when the curtain was pulled back from the viewing room, Marcellus Williams looked like he was engaged in a conversation with his spiritual advisor. We can't hear what they're saying because it's soundproof. At one point, he appeared to wiggle his feet, which were underneath a white sheet that's pulled up to his neck, moved his head slightly. Then I could see his chest heaved about a half dozen times. I didn't see any movement after that. And after a while, the spiritual advisor, continued to talk for a bit, eventually bowed his head. And there was no further movement going on.
I mean, that was pretty accurate of what happened. You guys have questions?
Were you in a room where you were able to see reactions of others in there, such as from his family or attorneys, or you guys kept separate?
So Dana Reek with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. So his son could be seen in the window across from us, as well as the 2 attorneys. He didn't appear to move very much, I don't think. And he just kind of just sat there, mostly stoic.
They are in a separate room from you. You could not hear. Okay.
Anthony Morabith with MissouriNet, based in Jefferson City. The only thing I was going to add is, on top of what David said, Marcellus Williams did not appear to struggle at all.
And then did the curtain close at any point and then open again before they pronounced him dead? Yeah, their normal procedure is they close the curtain and they tell us that while it's closed, they're checking on them. When they reopen the curtain, the spiritual advisor is no longer in the room.
Why do people need to know the answers to these types of questions? This is way too detailed. This is insane to me.
It's left open for a little while. Closed.
I'm sorry, you guys. I don't want to listen to this anymore. I'm done with that. All I can say, like I said, is I pray to God that there is nothing that comes out that says it proves that he was innocent. That's all I'm saying. What I'm going to do now, guys, if we can, before we are done for this show, is I'm going to see if we can all take a moment of silence for this. I do understand this man was a convicted murderer, but he was also a human being. And he is no longer with us. Like it was said, it's between him and God now. But because of who I am and what I do want to take a moment of silence for this if we can. You don't need to if you don't feel comfortable with it. I understand completely. But for this, I'm just gonna ask chat to stop typing, and then we can go silent just for a moment, and we'll be right back. Thank you. All right, everybody, thank you for that. Rest in peace, Marcellus Williams. Like I said, I pray to God that nothing comes out that he was innocent with this, because at this point, and I pray that there is no crazy rioting or anything that anyone else is harmed with because of this. I just don't know anymore, you guys. The rough thing. I did want to show you guys this here real quick before we got out of here. I thought this was kind of wild too. Thank you all for that as well. I appreciate that very much. Again, you guys don't have to feel the same way I do, and I completely respect and understand that. It just bothers me for some reason today. Scanning through some stuff and ran into this, and I'm just like, wow, this is crazy.
Your time looking for the perfect side hustle, or you could go to Printful.com. Printful empowers you to sell custom products online with no risk or upfront investment, and from the comfort of your living room. All you have to do is
Begin with that developing story out of Orange County, and former judge and district attorney under investigation for accepting bribes took his own life as the FBI moved in earlier today.
At some point during the chaos, an FBI agent opened fire. Exactly why, now under investigation. Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis live in Campbell Hall with the very latest. Marcus.
Well, David and Liz, a senior retirement community here in rural Orange County, an unlikely backdrop for this violent confrontation that took place this morning, but that's exactly what happened as the feds moved in to arrest that former assistant district attorney on bribery charges.
Scary. Sad.
And shocking, a violent end to a scandalous case. Stuart Rosenwasser, a former judge and assistant DA, is dead after an armed confrontation with FBI agents who went to his home to arrest him this morning.
I was standing by the front door. My friend went outside the front door. They screamed at us to get in the house, get in the house.
Sources say Rosenwasser pointed a gun at an agent who fired a shot. Rosenwasser then barricaded himself and it's believed fatally shot himself. A federal grand jury indicted the 72-year-old on bribery charges, accusing him of launching an investigation in 2022 when he was working in the district attorney's office to help a longtime associate. The man, known as Marty Sudani, accused his nephew of stealing nearly $2 million from him. In a text, Rosenwasser allegedly says, "I'm putting maximum effort into this. We will utilize all available assets." Court documents show copies of money orders and checks made out to the lawyer, and in another exchange, Rosenwasser allegedly wrote, "I will always protect you and help you." Rosenwasser abruptly resigned earlier this year. In a statement, his former...
Thank you, Piglet, for everything today. I appreciate all your info, and it was wonderful to have you here throughout both shows today. Have a great day, dear. Thanks.
boss said, "It's truly heartbreaking that it ended this way. My heartfelt condolences go out to his family." Well, all told, Rosenwasser is accused of taking $63,000 in bribes. The man who allegedly cut those checks also indicted. And we're live in Campbell Hall. Marcus Solis, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
He wasn't going to jail because he knew he was going to jail. He just said, no, I guess at his age, he was done. So too much sadness out there, you guys. We're going to have to do something soon to break this monotony, decompress, because it's been rough. Just say it. either way, I don't know, Dane. I don't know how much he would get for prison time he would get for that kind of thing, but being that he was a judge and a DA, I mean, they might, make an example out of him too. Who knows? I don't know. But like I said before, guys, I think that's going to be it for this. Oops, sorry. It's going to be it for this show today. I thank you guys very much for jumping in with us. There'll be more coming out in regards to the Diddy stuff and who else is involved. I'm kind of waiting to see if there's anything else that pops up with it as far as info and other witnesses and so on and so forth. Once again, I appreciate you guys being up here. Yeah, 100% SRB. Mom, it's always a pleasure. I may be back in here tonight. I'm not making a promise as of yet. Depends on what the boss says, but I'm trying to possibly be in here within the next couple hours, if so, okay? At the latest, probably by 10. And if I do it at 10, I'm only going to go till around midnight, and I'll be done. And that's just going to be a late night, hey, what's up, going on, hanging out type thing. For those of you that may want to jump in here, I appreciate it. You'll see it ahead of time if that's the case. And if not, guess what, guys? I think we're coming back in here tomorrow morning again for another coffee and current events morning show. But that's only, that's going to happen here regardless. But hopefully I might be in here in a little bit. Depends on the boss. I don't want to make promises I can't keep. So besides that, Mom, thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate you very much.
No, thank you for having me up.
Always, always, always a pleasure. True Seeker, good to see you. Like I said, hopefully if things go well, I will be back in here tonight just to hang out and do whatever. We'll see. I would like to put some more information out to finish up the Nichols case that we started the other night. I didn't get to finish, and then last night my internet was out till midnight, so I didn't get a chance to do that either. So my apologies. We will finish that up though. So not worth no, it's not at all, Paul. I agree. But other than that, Mom, again, thanks so much, dear. I appreciate you. Maybe I'll see you later here. Maybe not.
Yep,
if I don't see you, have a
night.
you too, Mom.
Make
Thank
good
you.
choices.
Exactly. Everybody else here in chat, thank you so much for your support today, guys. You guys are amazing. Fingers crossed that I will be back in here a little bit just to hang out and finish some of that stuff out too. On the Nichols, more information on Nichols. And if I don't get to the Nichols thing tonight, it probably would be. I still want to finish up on it either way. If I don't see you guys tonight, you guys are amazing. You know that. Don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change a thing about yourselves. You're all absolutely amazing. You guys are the reasons why I do what I do. Blue Crew, thank you so very much for everything you do. I could not, would not, nor should not ever try to do this without you because I just couldn't do it. You guys are too amazing. For those of you that, if I don't make it back tonight, guys, again, good night. God bless. Much love to each and every one of you. I appreciate that. Anybody that donated to the channel, thank you so very much for that. It never ever expected here, guys, but it is greatly appreciated. It helps me to keep the channel running, and I thank you so much for that. Other than that, folks, have an amazing rest of your night. God bless, and I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye. Oh, Doodle, thank you for what you did with that, too, by the way, putting that footwork in. God bless. Thank you so much, hon.
Devils on the screen, typing at the speed of light, hunting down the shadows, bringing wrongs to right, digging deep in the data, facts sharp as a knife. With every single story, he's fighting for a life. A voice for the voiceless, he won't stay quiet. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelations shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. Streaming loud and clear, cracking faces open, hearts filled with fear. These channels are beacon in a world gone wrong. He guides us through the chaos, a soldier so strong. The flicks and the lights, they follow his lead. With every new case, he plants a new seed. Sharing their stories, giving hope where it fades. Daniel's a warrior through the trials he waits. In a world of silence, he shouts out their names. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows you rise, are streaming loud and clear. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the darkness, hear the truth he brings. From the shadows and moments, he won't let us fall. Bringing the truth out, answering the call. For every soul forgotten, he's here to stand tall. Tangle the genuine, he'll always give it his all. Daniel's got the fire igniting the fight. True crime revelation shining through the night. With every victim story, he pulls at the strings. A hero in the